Jacob.
Big up wherever you're in. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, maybe, depending where you're coming from. How are you doing? I'm doing great. As you can see, it is just myself for the moment, but don't you worry. I do have a beautiful guest in the back who will join us in just one moment. Also, for those of you wondering, yes, Michael will be here. This will not be a Michael-less show. This is the Michael show. We will have Michael on in a little while, but he's just running a little bit behind. Couldn't let the show start too late. So I'm going to kick this off with our guest. We'll get straight into it. But first, I just want to say hello. Good afternoon. I hope you're all having a great Friday. Hope we get this weekend started off right. Let me run through a couple of comments, say hello. But before I do that, let me say thank you to the patrons of this channel. Number one, in the Soggy Undies Club, we have Alan 10-inch Sibley himself. Big up yourself, Mr. 10-inch, the founder of the 10-inch Club. In the 10-inch Club, we have Aaron Dub, Goguma, Mile High Hotspur, Ellie, and C. Shearman. Big up yourselves, everyone in the 10-inch Club. And we also have in the official supporters, we have Scott M., James Joris, Jaco, David, Jamie, and Jack Nicky from the Irish Hotspur. Big up yourself. Lovers Lane, can't forget about them. They're too beautiful to forget about. Come on, we got Bobby K, Gina Kim, Tom Markkinen, Colin, and C. Cute. Big up yourself, every single one of you. So thankful every day that I get to say your names and I get to call you part of the United Spurs of America family. So big up yourself, every single one of you. Your names will be scrolling below the entirety of the show. I will put special emphasis on reading your comments if you are one of those names, but even if you're not, even if you're just a subscriber who liked the video, that means the world to me. Can't state that enough because that goes far and it doesn't cost you not a single dollar. But if you do want to spend $1, it's only $1 to become a part of the Lovers Lane. There is the link in the chat. I just put it there. I'll pin it to the top. If you are so interested, click that link, select your club, and you will become a supporter of United Spurs of America. So big up yourselves. The link is there. I'm going to lower this music while I bring in, on his debut, nonetheless, first time joining the United Spurs of America on a Friday show, and any show in general. Let me bring in my friend, Sava from Sava Talks Football. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah, I'm feeling old, but I'm good. Yeah. How are you?
Feeling old in the metaphorical sense or like in the physical sense?
Just every sense, mate. I was just saying to you, it's 11 o'clock. You should be in a pub somewhere or going out, but no. I'm chilling in these days and talking football. So,
well, listen, I love it.
Happy to be here. So thanks for having me.
I love it. I'm glad you're staying in on a Friday night with us, Sava, making your debut. Before we get really into the nitty gritty, I do want to say hello to everyone who's commented real quick. Adrian Schroka, big up yourself. Good evening, all. Phil P in the house. I think this is Phil. Is it a new photo from Phil P? Woo, Phil P. Woo. Is that the Phil P we talking about? Because big up yourself.
It's not
all
Phil.
Right. Ryman's son, happy Friday. Let's stream Roll Potter out the Prem. Come on, you Spurs. Yes, sir. What did Tuchel do to get sacked? He held on to Antonio Conte too long. That's what he did. You don't squeeze on the one and on. Sorry, Sal, I'm going to put it. You don't squeeze on the man without getting your hands a little dirty. Or at least a little, maybe some olive oil on him at least. I don't know what Antonio kind of moisturizer he uses, but it's got to be something nice because he was stuck to that man. Big up Phil, Coys, what's up? Ben Kaufman in the house. Bobby K in the house. Ryman's son, it's a Bobby K, says Conte. Phil P. Woo! It is Phil P. There we go. Let's get this party started. Todd Spurs, big up Mike and Jacob. Let's have a good one. Michael will be here in just a little bit. Don't you worry. It won't just be I. Big up Spurs Talk Show. And you know, as I'm pulling up his comment, he showed up with me because I said, you know what? I need that super sub, that Sunny super sub. A man who's been screaming for a Sunny super sub since he's the first person I argued with about. We got Sean from Spurs Talk Show in the house. Big up. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
I'm doing excellent. Good to see you, man.
What are you eating?
Have you ever tried these bad boys?
Chardonnay.
Oh my god, they're the most powerful
Sea
crisps.
salt and Chardonnay.
Like it makes your glands go like your asshole would go like whoop when you go on a on like a roller coaster. The same thing happens to your taste buds and your glands here when you get a sample of these bad boys. They're the most powerful flavored crisps I've ever had in my life. They can't be good for you, or they can't be anything but horrendous for you. With the
If they make you feel good, though, sometimes it's like Tottenham. Sometimes they make you feel good, but it may not be good for you in the long run. Big up David Clark, hi from Leicester. Big up Mile High Hotspur says, "What's up, my homies?" Yakub, Bobby K. Big up Jacob. Everyone in the chat. Big up El Paso Spurs. Yeah, you see it. You know it's official now. You can't deny it. Come on. El Paso has their first official Tottenham Hotspur supporters.
How many members?
On the record or off the record? Big up Paul G. Hope you're good, Jacob. Big up all in the chat. Big up Paul G. Thank you for being here. Jacob, what player did they say is out for 9 months? Say it 3 times. I'm gonna star this and I'm gonna bring it back. I gotta let the tip of the lips and tips of the tongue warm up before I really start diving into the guttural noises. But it's coming, Bobby K. Don't you worry. Big up Paul G. Let's see if I caught up. Have I said hello to everyone? They're saying what's up to Sava. Yo, Sava, big up. Ben Kaufman said he knows you. Wake up feeling old every day. Big up Patty Hartnett. Good evening, the football philosophers, the Socrates, definitely not negative, and America's #1 Tottenham fan channel. That's quite a comment. Thank you for that, Patty. Big up Limerick Spurs as well. Nate says, Ben, I've never seen this Sava guy before. I think he's seen you before. I think you've seen him before. Big up yourself, everyone in the chat. But let me get right to it, Sava. This is your debut on the channel. We're a little bit more than halfway through this Premier season. We're sniffing around the potentials of FA Cup glory. I said sniffing around the potential. There's a lot of...
Don't worry, I'll have an answer for anything you want to say. Don't worry.
But let me just off the top, how are you feeling about the West Ham match, and how are you feeling about going into this Chelsea match?
I mean, look, the West Ham game is exactly what I thought. I think we did a show earlier that day, Sean, where I said I think this should be a straightforward 2-0 Tottenham Hotspur victory. Was a really disappointing first half, but second half came out, and that kind of second half FC tag kind of reared its head again. But listen, there was nothing great about it. We did the job. We got the 3 points. And I think a bigger deal is made of it because it's West Ham. But I think if we take this match in isolation this season, they are a bottom 3 team that aren't very good. And then heading into the Chelsea game, look, I said it earlier on my show. We absolutely have to beat them. I don't want to hear any excuses. This is a team that are down. This is a team that I think they'll be fine. They've won 1 in 9. They've scored 2 in 7 or 2 in 6. They don't score goals. And I'm just hoping that this isn't... Look, basically, Jacob, I said all week, for me, this game is the biggest game in Potter's managerial career. I truly believe it. He loses it, he gets sacked. I think if he wins it, they use that as a platform, and then they've got some winnable games the other side. I just don't want us to be the team that kickstarts Chelsea moving up the table. So look, we should win, man. We should. We should.
But that's always the story, isn't it, Sava? It's like we should go out there and win. They're in a little bit disarray. They're pretty, down there on the table for Chelsea side. That actually I thought, given their in the summer, I predicted that they would at least finish in the top 5. I picked that for them in Newcastle, and I figured we'd give out 6.
I think everyone did, Jacob, right? I think everyone, when you looked at Chelsea, thought, they're definitely going to be in that top 4. But look, they do this every so often. They have a year where they dip out completely, and we all think it's the end of Chelsea, and then they bounce back. But look, one thing I would say about them, Jacob, is when I've watched them in the last few weeks. Southampton wasn't good, but some of their games before that, against like West Ham, for example, and Fulham, they actually played quite well. It wasn't that they were a terrible team to watch. it was, you know, and they're actually quite good at the back. They just don't score goals. And listen, that's
got to happen at some point, though. I think with the amount of talent you got, the players filling those boots, some of them, I mean, yes, we could argue about price tags all day, but I mean, I think there is something to say when you buy a player for over 100 million in whatever currency it is. There's got to be something about this player that screams, I can put the ball in the back of the net or help that in some way. Right. So to me, I think it's going to happen at some point. Ben Kaufman says Dr. Tottenham. That's what I fear, because it's either and I've listened to a few like Big Six podcasts and you know, shout out like Never a Foul and Big Six Bands and stuff. I like hearing other teams' opinions from fans that follow them. And a lot of them, like you said, if Potter loses this, they're like, no way we lose to Spuds, right? I'm going after Potter. I'm showing up at his house if we lose to Spuds. Some of the comments are crazy.
Yeah, it's...
You're muted, by the way,
Sean.
Sean.
You're mute, Sean.
Sorry, not true. I was on Never a Foul yesterday with the Irish Hotspur, and we did a preview game with two big Chelsea fans, a guy called Younes, who I think has got a monster channel, and a guy called Goonie, I think, and both lovely guys. I've never in my life been a part of a stream where both sets of fans were so pessimistic about their own team's chances. It was mad. Like, Kaz was trying to like stoke the fire, trying to get some banter going, and neither me nor Dave nor Goonie or Younes were prepared to get sucked in and prop our teams up, because we both know the Tottenham argument is, you know, it's Chelsea, and the Chelsea argument is like, yeah, it's Tottenham, but we are so bad right now that we all ended up going for a score draw. And like a 1-1 is the obvious answer, because
so
Chelsea
you think Potter gets out of that stadium with his head if we go out there and we smash them 3-0 or something?
Oh, sorry, that's maybe a different story. I think his days are numbered. I think the only reason he's still employed is because Todd Bowley's got a bit of an ego and he doesn't want to change the manager 3 times in 6 months.
Well, yeah, because that's also the manager he appointed, right?
100%. Right. He's trying to represent that he's got a grand plan. Mm-hmm. And listen, I've been putting together my thesis on the fact that he's got anything but a grand plan. When you look at the amount of money that he's spent, all right, he's been very clever with his accounting practices, and the amortization, all that stuff is very, very kind of cutting edge. But the biggest problem for him, and probably the best thing that could happen for him, and also for teams like Tottenham, I know it sounds a bit counterintuitive, but something like the European Super League being allowed to happen would enable an injection of cash into what is otherwise a broken European football market. Without that, absent that, there is no ability to offload assets that you purchase in the Premier League, where all the money is, that don't work out. Tottenham are struggling with that now. 250 million quid of players out on loan, no ability to offload them into the European market. Chelsea, like, I don't know. I was saying to Saba the other day, Jacob, we should do a stream and review not just Tottenham's like hit or miss record with transfers, but everybody's. I don't think anybody's got 100% hit record with big money signings. Most of the time when you go big, you end up like most of those players don't really like work out, or at least haven't worked out in the early stages. If you don't have a European market to offload these assets to, then sustainability is a real issue, not just for like the club, but for the entire Premier League. There's knock-on effects, there's hangover effects. I'm actually a bit more of an advocate for the European Super League. I'm getting off topic. My point is that I think that Todd Bowley is trying to represent a plan, and I don't think he has one. I don't think he's really thought through the future of football finance, and I think that if he was to sack Graham Potter, it would be more evidence that he's up shit creek without a paddle.
Can I just say, Jacob? Sorry, yeah, because like Sean, you know, you and I've got a slightly different view on this. Like, I get it, right? They are, for me, I think they've got a plan, but it is a all or nothing plan. To coin Amazon, it is this for this plan to work in the next year. This year, I think, look, again, this is all conjecture, right? None of us are in the boardroom. None of us know. This year, I think they know they can have a free hit.
Yeah.
Getting Champions League this year isn't the be all and end all. We've seen Chelsea not get it before. Winning something this year is not the be all and end all.
Agreed.
Next year, they have to get it, and I think they will. But what I also do is I think they have got a plan. But the problem is we've never seen a club do the likes of this before, where they actually go out and buy literally like 4 or 5 windows worth of players in 2 windows. You know, they got 14 new players across the summer and January. But when you look at what the plan is for me, Jacob, it's that they've got all of those players, barring Koulibaly, all of those players they bought in are all 24 or under.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I think, look, we're football fans, right? So forget that it's Chelsea.
Most of them don't speak English, though, mate.
No, cool. No, hang on. That's my point. This is what I'm leading on to. For me, this is the big thing. We're all football fans, so we all get emotional. And loads of Chelsea fans are emotional right now because they're so used to winning, right? They're so used to winning. Right? I think, and I could be massively wrong here, if they can see you through to the summer, whether it's Potter or not, isn't the real subject here. If they can see us through to the summer, yeah, and they can start building a team with these new players, because you've got to remember that the other day they had 6 of their new players starting. Bedding in 6 players in a new team, that's something you work on over the summer. If they can bed them in, yeah, get them playing together, get them settled, because they're all from different countries, they're all young men, I think Chelsea are a problem for the league, because I think they're going to be brilliant. But to Sean's point, if that doesn't click, then they're in a position where it's like, right, we've got all these players now. We've spent.
How are you going to offload them?
Right.
Where are you going to sell them to? Where? Who's got the money to pay? If Enzo Fernandez doesn't settle, like even the Mudryk, as the boy Kaz calls him, the Ukrainian Britney Spears, right? 90 million quid. Right, based on what? 27 appearances for Shakhtar.
Britney Spears.
Yeah, based on 27 appearances.
Is it the butterfly tattoo? Is it the butterfly tattoo? It's got to be the butterfly tattoo.
It might be the butterfly tattoo.
I think it's the butterfly tattoo.
But
big up Bader. Just want to say big up Bader.
Based on 27 appearances to Shakhtar Donetsk, like it's one thing to go like do the thing that Daniel Levy professes to do at Tottenham, and he says he wants to buy young and develop them and stuff. But when you're paying top money and on top wages for young talent that haven't really got any runs on the board in their career, it's a massive risk. And look, like I've said it 1,000 times on my channel. I agree with you 100%, Sav. If it works out, if they all settle in and they can go, then of course they're going to be a massive force. But even if 40%, 30% of the players that they've signed don't settle, where does Bowley go to cut that risk, to cut that asset? It's a nightmare waiting to happen, and he's betting the house. And I feel like he's not going to get it. They're not all going to figure out, are they, Sav? Like maybe Fernandez does. Hernandez. Fernandez. Enzo Fernandez. Sorry. Yeah.
The thing is, Sean, what we've got to remember as well, though, right? They've signed some top players, right? That at the moment, most clubs, if you buy a top player, like if Man City buy a top player, they normally bring that player in, and they're going into a settled club with a settled team, right?
Yeah. The
problem is Chelsea are trying to put all these players in one go. So none of them are settled. But when you watch,
it's a hot pot. It's a hot pot recipe, isn't it? And everyone's experimenting. No one's really sure.
Of course it is. If you look at
big
Enzo
up box
Fernandez,
office,
he is class. Enzo Fernandez is a quality footballer. Anyone just has to watch him for 45 minutes of football. Watch the way he manipulates the ball. Watch the way he goes into tackles. Watch the way he passes it. And top player. Mudryk, you never know with players like that. They've got Nkunku coming in, who is top quality. Right, yeah. Fofana at the back, we've seen him do it for Leicester. You've got Chilwell and James, we've seen what they do. He's a good player. I think they've got the recipe. I think they've got enough ingredients there.
Yeah.
But it's whether or not the board and the Chelsea fans are going to give him the time. And as I said, I think this is the big game for him. Forget all the others.
Well, it's the other question, right? You've got all the ingredients, Saba, but is the chef good enough? right? Is Graham Potter good enough? Does he have the respect of the ingredients? Is the Kobe steak looking up at the chef going, I ain't going to cook right for you, bro? Is the mushrooms, is Fernandez, who's that just a perfect amount of garlic, is he looking up at the chef with his hat on going, sorry, bro, I don't respect you enough. I'm not going to like melt in the pan just the way you expect me to because I don't respect you as a chef. And I wonder whether Potter is a little bit terrified. He's daunted by the task of having these, ridiculously not overhyped, but ridiculously hyped players.
Yep.
My feelings.
If Conte was there right now, last thing I'll say before I hand back to you, Jacob, if Conte was in charge at Chelsea right now, you'd probably think that he'd make it work, right? But I don't know about Graham Potter.
I don't think he'd make it work. I think this is I think people are getting confused with the price tag of the players versus if they're ready-made players, right? What I mean by that is
that's a fair point.
Conte is very good at going in when he's got ready-made players who are his.
Good point.
All of these players, if you look at them, Fofana is what, 21, 22. Badashili is 22. Enzo Fernandez is 20. Mudrik's 22, 23.
Madueke's 22. Yeah.
Kunku's 23, 24 when he joins. Even Conor Gallagher, right there, if he plays, is 23, 24. They've got a Mudwiki, 21, 22. I don't think I think everyone thinks that these players are ready-made, and I think what Chelsea are doing is hedging their bets and want to build this team together. And I don't think you're going to see another window from them like the one they've just had. I think that was.
I'll retract Conte as the example. Maybe I'm thinking of it. Maybe you're right what you say. A different manager, but I still hold true that I don't know if Potter's got the minerals for it.
I think Todd Bowley, as an American, there's going to be the ego side that is going to be the X factor to all this, whether he sticks with Potter because for me, I think as an American, I could see it like, this is who I appointed. These are the players I bought. They just need to figure it out. I would almost bet that Todd Bowley's going to hang on to this hope that he got it right. He came in. He's going to revitalize this team. He's going to do more than what Abramovich done. So I think from that aspect, he's going to be more stubborn. My prediction, if I had to put a $5 on it or a $10, I'd probably say I think he's going to ride this Potter thing out. Maybe if at the end of the season, if they're like 15th or something, then he might say, yeah, he's getting the sack. I got it wrong there. But if he's still... Go ahead.
They'll click. They've got too many good players for it.
That's what I'm saying. They'll figure it out
at some point. But look, it's like anything, right? How many times have you seen it? How many times? I genuinely do. Like if you have a look, right, you've got to remember as well. And I'm not sticking up for him. I'm not sticking up for Chelsea here, right? But you've got to remember that Chelsea have had the most injuries of any Premier League team this season, and up until about 3 or 4 games ago, they had 11 first-team players out. That included Chilwell, right? Reece James, Fofana. So you've got 3 of their back 4/5 that were all
What's happened
injured.
to those players though, mate? They're rubbish right now. I know that a couple of them have just come back from injury. I know they're injured. They're recovering from their injuries. But if you were going to point to any players in the Chelsea squad right now and say, show me anywhere where any of them are at least even carrying their own weight.
I think they are.
You're not pointing at Mason Mount. You're not pointing at Chilwell or Reece James. You're pointing at probably Fernandez and the guys on loan costing 3 million.
But this is my point. Chilwell and James have literally just come back from very long injuries.
Yeah, I know.
So the thing is, I truly believe, like when I watched them play West Ham the other week, they looked really good. In that first half, I thought with Felix pulling strings, Enzo Fernandez, they looked good, but they looked toothless. Of all that money, they didn't buy a finisher, but they're getting, and Kunku's coming in the summer. He'll help with that. I think they'll be all right if they ride it through. How many times have we seen this, guys? How many times have we seen something like this happens? Everyone loses their mind, and then 6 months later, Sky Sports do a feature on, do you remember when this nearly happened? Now look at them. I think they're going to be that club. Now, whether that's Potter or not, that's a different debate. But I think this is a huge game for him. Not for Spurs, not for Chelsea. This is a huge game for his career.
Yeah.
Only in my opinion.
I agree as well. I think it's a big game. Sean, like I kind of at the very beginning said, there was, at least in the chat, I don't know about like any Chelsea streamers necessarily, but in some of the chats I had seen people saying, if we lose to Spuds, I'm going for Potter. So I'm just quoting, shout out at whoever the fuck that was in the chat. That was like, I'm coming for you if we lose to. So that was my, okay, pretty much I guess they seem like they don't want to lose to us. Like it'd be such an insult because of the curse. I want to ask this question. It's a little bit of a different direction, but do you think is there any hope that maybe Stellini could be the X factor here, break the curse? Is he the chosen one to do that for us? Or is there no hope? I mean, Savvy, you kind of said that you think we should go in there and win. I think we should too.
We should win. I don't think it's a Stellini. Look, again, this is what football fans do, right? Look, if we look at what Stellini's done, he's getting all these plaudits, right? If you look at what he's done what we always do against Man City, which is sit in, soak up pressure, and hit them, right? That's what we've always done. And let's be fair, we won because of, not saying we won because of a mistake, but our goal came from a mistake. It wasn't like we went there and scored 3 or 4 goals, right? He's beaten a bottom 3 West Ham team 2-0. I'm not knocking it. You've still got to win it. And then people are going, Stellini, oh, he's different. I think we get both those results under Conte as well. I don't think it's.
Not sure.
I don't know. I do think that there's something.
We did get that result against City under Conte last year.
We also did under Nuno though.
No, but I think that there's a different version of Conte right now. The energetic, and I'm not taking it away from him. I'm not blaming him for none of that stuff. Just let me say this in isolation because of his health, or maybe because his mind is elsewhere, because of the loss of his 3 mates, because whatever the number of factors that are sort of piling into his consciousness. I don't think you've got the same Conte on the sidelines. I don't think he's not animated the way he usually is. When we score a goal, he's not pumped up. When we concede, he's not furious. And I think that there is a bit of a damp squib of a manager on the sidelines, but still one that does micromanage whoever's on the touchline next to him, whether it's Emerson or whether it would be Perisic or whoever. And I think that there's 2 factors around the Stellini argument. Of course, the formation is still picked by Conte via Stellini. Of course, the tactics are still instructed. I'm sure Conte's still there at halftime via a video link, all that stuff. But I do think there's 2 factors that are influencing why Stellini has a little bit more success at the moment than when Conte's around. One of them is the lackluster energy that Conte presents because of his health or because of his mind or whatever. And the other is less micromanagement. Stellini doesn't sit there and start shouting. And listen, I played rugby to quite a decent level when I was a school kid up to university level.
You part of the scrum?
Yeah, it was a big part of the scrum. And I played to a really good level, but I had massively different coaching styles. And there was one particular coach who would put his arm around me if I had a good game or a bad game, or at halftime, and just give me the kick up the backside I needed. And I would go out and play for him. There was another guy that would scream and shout all day, every moment on the pitch, and tell you wherever you were, you weren't in the right place. He wanted to play the game. He was just too old to play it, and he was living vicariously through his team. And it pissed everybody off. He knew what he was talking about as a coach, but
that's the thing,
ruined the enjoyment. And I think there's a little bit of that with Conte.
I can see that, but to me, there's always just different managerial styles, and that's in every sport: rugby, American football, basketball. There are coaches barking up and down the signs. I mean, when I worked for the Dallas Cowboys, Rod Marinelli, if anyone who knows that guy, he used to coach the Lions. He was unsuccessful as a head coach, but he was really good as a defensive line coach. And this guy, he's fucking 5'2", maybe, just always yelling, barking, rah, always yelling, rah. But he got the best out of some grisly, nasty men. I think it comes down to the individual. I think 100%. It's an old school coaching mindset where it's like, I'm gonna fucking beat this tactic into you I'm gonna make you scared of me until you fucking get this right. And so people do respond to that, but I think as time has gone on, we've leaned more towards the side of, I need you to believe in me and be nice to me, because I don't want you yelling at me. That pisses me off. To me, when I play, I need someone shit talking me. I always talk shit to the opponent because I'm like, that's why I love Romero, because he's gonna go to the fucking guy, because that gets him going. You know what I'm saying? If someone riling you up, that gets me. I play better when you piss me off. So go ahead, wake up the bear is kind of my mentality. So I can see it from both sides.
No, of course I can as well. I'm just saying. I think that when you're, of course, it's, you know, horses for courses. Some people are going to love that. Some people are going to hate it. But I think that there is a difference. The Conte we've seen over the last 2-3 months is different to the one we saw the second half of last season. Yeah. And I think that the players may have some influence, but maybe are being influenced more or less as a consequence of seeing a different version of Conte. Whether they're feeding off of the lack of energy and thinking his mind's not in it, even if he's just sick, I don't know. But there's definitely a different version of the players. And against, when Stellini's there and Conte hasn't been, in the 3 games we've seen, Marseille, West Ham, and when was the first one? Fulham? Was it Fulham?
It was West Ham,
Marseille, and
West Ham, Marseille, and City.
Oh, City. That's it. Sorry, City. Yeah, I think in those 3 games you saw a slightly different.
Leicester? Did he coach Leicester?
No, Conte was there for Leicester, and Conte was also in Milan as well. So
yeah, I knew he was in Milan. Which to me, my conspiracy theory is like, he's like, I'm gonna go to Milan, say I'm hurt, and then I'll just stay with my family because that's what my family is. A little bit of conspiracy theory there, but.
Would you say though? I think we've got such a small sample size to answer this with, right? I mean, look, for me, what I want to see is, I don't want to see. We've had 2 ends of the spectrum, right? We've played a bottom 3 team, and then we've played the best team in the country. 2 very different types of games. One game where we're expected to have all the ball and actually do the running and actually take the game to West Ham. And then another game against City where we're not expected to do that, right? I think everyone knows when you play Man City, you are not getting more possession of the ball than Man City. So everyone who plays them sits in, make yourself hard to beat, don't allow space, go with your runners, you know, all that type of stuff. For me, the sample size is going to be, okay, now what do? We've got Chelsea. Then we've got, then you've got Wolves away in the league, right? Is it Wolves away? Yeah, Wolves away in the league. Let's see those 2 games, right? Because otherwise, if we look, West Ham, let's be really honest, Sean. The first half against West Ham was one of the worst halves of football, I think.
Yeah, it was awful. It was awful, right? As well. Yeah, I agree.
And then from that point of view, it just looked to me like it was a typical Conte performance where it was.
Yeah, I agree with that as well.
First half I don't know what it is, right? Like.
Well, it's the first goal changes everything, Sam, doesn't it? The dynamic of the game changes. You know. So
let me off this train of thought that we're on right here, which is that Conte's demeanor could be playing into the fact but that's why I kind of opened it with you, Savas, asking maybe Stellini could be the X factor here. This is a guy every day he's at training. He hasn't had the appendix thing or the gallbladder thing going on. He ain't had and this is what Conte said the first time he was out, the first game we mentioned earlier. He said, I tell him what I think, but he knows the players because he's with them at training pitch every day, picking the players for training. When I worked for FC Dallas, the MLS team here in Dallas, Sav, I don't know if I've told you that, but the coaches, it was always your first assistant was the one who in training was like, let me get 23, 22, and 9 playing for this midfield. Let me work these. It's always the assistant doing that. So I think when it comes down to, especially, we could say the 11 is probably heavily Conte influenced or whatever influence you want to say. But for me, the X factor is in game. What's happening? When are the substitutions coming? What are the different things that these substitutions are doing? I mean, Heung-min Son did not track nearly back as much as he did as a substitute as compared to when he started. And if you look at where Richie was playing mostly, he was playing in a lot of the same areas that Son occupies, defensive mid on the left side. And to me, that's just not a good thing for Sonny, but that's another story. But the X factor of Stellini is that. Anyone else think that could be a? Sorry, Sava, what were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, listen. It could be. As I said, at the moment, I'd want to see a bigger sample size of that. Look, I want to see us. I'm just a football fan, right? I'm just a fan saying this. I want to see us come out the blocks on Sunday against Chelsea flying. I want to see us go into that game knowing that it doesn't matter if we're up and down in our form, that this is a team in no form. This is a team that have won 1 in 9. At our ground, go at them. If we start that game how we started against West Ham, believe it or believe whatever we want about how bad Chelsea have been results-wise, they're a better team than West Ham. Yeah. They have better players across the pitch than West Ham. They will try and attack us Like, whereas West Ham, I thought worked perfectly because West Ham had no interest in that game of attacking. They had they literally did what we did. They had 5 at the back. They had 3 defensive midfielders. I know we played 2, 3 defensive midfielders, and then a battering ram up top. It was comfortable. Chelsea won't be that. Now, whether they're playing well or not, they're going to have players that pick up the ball in the pockets, like Felix, right? Now, Spurs don't ever do well against a player like that. If you look at the 2 Arsenal games with Odegaard in the hole, tore us apart. You look at both of the games against City. Yeah, we won one of them, but both games against City, teams that have that bloke that drops into the hole, we don't know what to do with one of our centre mids coming.
But that's what Stellini said he did, right, with Eric Dyer, is that he said him and Mason said, let's put Eric Dyer closer. I think Silva was playing as that character.
And he smashed it. Eric Dyer absolutely pocketed or absolutely dominated on that game against Man City, doing that very well.
He did, but also fuck Eric Dyer. You're trash. Get off my club. We need better. That's just how I feel. I know people are going to say he put in a shift versus West Ham. I'm sorry, but you should be doing your fucking job. It's not, we don't praise him for, do we praise the garbage man? Good job. You fucking put the bag in the back and it didn't spill everywhere and make everyone pick up more trash.
Hold on, but everyone praises Romero when he smashes someone and times it correctly. Right.
I praise him when he doesn't do it correctly either. I loved what he did to Haaland in that first. Whenever he wins,
there you go. Right. So you're like there's an imbalance then in your bias on how you allocate praise and criticism towards one centre back versus another.
No, I do critique Romero about what I saw him do versus Milan. That was atrocious. He got turned around, danced around. He was looking like Ben Davies on the right side. He had I will not defend him when he's not good, but the tackle
Ben Davies deserves more credit than people give him. Ben Davies is a solid centre back.
I mean, I think he's a solid at doing what he can do. He's solid at that. He's not
flamboyant. He doesn't make mistakes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He doesn't wow anybody.
He'll give you a solid 4 to a 6 rating, in my opinion. He'll give you somewhere, but sometimes when he gives you solid 6s, you're like, okay, this guy, he could. But if I had to pick between Eric Dyer and Ben Davies, who I'd keep as a backup, I'd keep Ben Davies because I think he's a better worker. I think he's a better footballer in total.
Do you know what I think with Ben Davies? Look, for me, Ben Davies is the ultimate squad player. You know, can play left back, can play left wing back now apparently, can play left side of a free. You know what you're going to get from him. I even think, and by the way, I don't want him in the 11. I even think if you had Romero right and then you had a top centre half in the middle, I don't think there's a problem with Ben Davies being in there. I think the difficulty, everything stems from Eric Dyer. Look, when you play a back three, right? I don't think we have to be football coaches to work this one out. When you play in a back three, the guy who plays in the middle needs to be your talker. He needs to be your conductor. He needs to be the one telling the left-sided centre-back and the right-sided centre-back, when do we go? When do we stay? Who pushes up? When do we shuffle out to help the wing-back because they're out of position? When do we drop? Problem is, Dyer's not that guy. So a lot of the time, I see Davis get blamed for things that he doesn't actually...
Correct.
I'm not saying he's great, but that he doesn't actually do wrong. You chuck, imagine we had Thiago Silva in that role, even at his age now.
I'll take him.
Speaking, marshalling Romero and Davis, I think all of a sudden
doing anything.
I think
Dyer spends too much time trying to marshal people and then forgets about his own job. The amount of times you can see him on highlights doing this, doing that,
and getting turned around, and then gets fucking run behind him, and he misses him completely. I'm telling, like, before the Leicester game, and I'm going to the Leicester game, he fucking pissed me off. Bro, I played keeper. I'm in the goalkeepers union. Fraser Forster's getting his first fucking Premier League start for us. You got to go help that fucker out, in my opinion. And what do? You don't close out Iheanacho when he's on top of your box. You just let him fucking size it up. Where do I want to put this? Top right, top left, top bottom, top. He gave him all fucking day. Just stood there, and he said, you know what? I'm going to be like your valet. Just fucking wait here with my arms behind my back. Just bring it on, take your shot, and he fucking did. And that's not helping a big human log, the tree that is Fraser Forster.
Jacob, Forster took a lot of stick after going in for that first game against Leicester, right? But I actually think he did well in Milan.
Yeah, he was good in Milan.
I actually think he didn't do anything wrong.
He had a double save
against West Ham.
Yeah, he was good against West Ham as well.
I love the double save in the
I
long.
do
That was
think
clutch.
it's pretty clear to me. If I was, like sometimes you see certain circumstances arise when you're watching your own team, and you have this impression like if I was the opposition manager, I would tell them to do this against Tottenham.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think that if Chelsea get the ability, and if Potter had been watching Tottenham under Fraser Foster, I think that if they do take pot shots from 23, 24 yards and just aim for the corner, whereas a younger, more nimble goalkeeper that was a bit more flexible, a bit more dynamic, a little bit more cat-like would be able to get across to it. I don't think Foster can. I do think I think he is a big fucking tall lump of limber, and getting down, like the bigger they are, the slower they fall, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I do think that there is an angle there. I think he's a good shot stopper. I thought that double save that he did against Milan in the first 5 minutes, none of that was his fault at all. I thought he did brilliantly well to get his paw up.
Yeah, Romero got fucking turned around
Romero
nasty. That's where it started.
That was Romero's fault, right? But
I think before that though, Emerson or someone had a bad pass, or it was Skip. I think it's who it was. Skip had a bad pass, and then Romero got turned around disgustingly, and then he had a double save, and then a guy who's under 6 foot bodied. Who was it? Perisic? Who was he dunking on? I don't remember who it was. Was it Perisic? If it's Dyer, honestly, he needs to retire because this dude's fucking.
It was Perisic. Yeah, Perisic.
I think it was. He's a fucking liability, and that's
Perisic. Perisic is a massive liability.
How has Ben Davies come in and play left wing back better than he does defensively?
And offensively, Perisic is only good from corners and free kicks, putting the ball onto a spot. And by the way, that's dried up significantly. It was good until Christmas, not so much in the new year.
Sean, we massively agree on that one. For me, look, again, and this is where the whole stats argument can fall down, right? On paper, people will go, oh my God, but look at Perisic, look at the assists this season. Okay, that's cool. Watch the actual games. How many times does he beat a man whipping a ball and we score from it?
No, never.
Right.
And how many times has he been in scoring positions and then can't finish his dinner? He can do it for Croatia, can't do it for Tottenham. He's inside the 18-yard box.
What is it about the left wing back? The left wing back. Reguilon couldn't fucking do it. Sessegnon couldn't fucking do it.
Yeah.
Perisic can't fucking do it.
They get altitude sickness, mate. They get put through on goal. They get inside the 18-yard box, maybe 9 yards out, and then maybe 3 yards to the left-hand side, and they slice it or hook it every time. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I genuinely think that I could do it, and I've never played football in my life, but I genuinely think I could put a ball on target from the position where they take that shot. It's bonkers to me.
It's what I've always said about the whole wing-back formation. Look, I'm an advocate of playing wing-backs if you've got the tools to play it, which is 3 centre-halves who are comfortable in a 3. Right, and I don't buy this argument. People say, "Oh, they should all be able to play in a 2 or a 3." It's not quite how it works.
It's massively different.
And the same argument that right backs and left backs should just be able to play wing back. It may only be 10, 15 yards further up the pitch, but suddenly you're now being asked to do 2 jobs. And if this has always been my argument with this, we don't have the centre backs to play it, and we don't have the wing backs to play it. Yeah. But we play it nonetheless.
Anyway, yeah.
Right.
I 100% agree with you on that one, mate. This is why Conte coming in with the arrogance, the ego of the mindset of someone who's gone wherever he's gone before and had success. Generally speaking, he's always had a squad that's capable. That if I execute my strategy, then it doesn't matter what any other team do. That's what that's a luxury afforded to Pep Guardiola. It was a luxury afforded to Jurgen Klopp. Last season, this season, Jurgen Klopp's arrogance has preceded him, and now he's finding out that the squad can't do that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
And Antonio Conte coming in saying, no, it doesn't matter what the squad is capable of. You're going to adapt to my system because I don't know a different system. That, to me, is a problem.
Well, look, I mean, this is the thing. I mean, if I can just, Jacob, the comment that you've got on, and then the next comment that same person's put on, I'm sorry. Listen, I understand this from a central midfielder point of view, but I can't see that Perisic has been bad because of the centre-backs. I think what we can't do is we can't blame the centre-backs for other people playing poorly. The centre-backs aren't that great. We know that. But he's just been awful. Whether it's defending, whether it's going forward, I don't know what that's got to do with the centre-backs for me. Yeah. He just... I mean, the other day he came on, right? And in the space of 5 minutes, he got absolutely mugged off by Jared Bowen. and then he got absolutely mugged off by was it Soufal as well?
Should have been sent off. Should have been sent off in that game.
He can't defend, right? And the thing is, going forward, I'm just sometimes I'm watching the TV going, take him on, take your man on, and for me, he's not a left wing back. He's a left-sided forward that is past his best. I'm sorry, I know people like him because of his name, but again, it was for me not good now.
I agree with what you're saying, mate. 100%. We're always close to agreement, mate, but generally we have a little pivot here and there. But that one, I'm with you.
Well,
but Ben Davies did come in against West Ham again. Sample size of 1. Let's not go overboard. But as a left wing back, we hadn't seen it. People writing him off saying, "Oh, he could barely handle it as a left back. He does an okay job at left sided centre." Sorry, mate.
Oh. You broke up a little bit there.
My
camera was out of focus, so I was just trying to get to focus, and then you broke up at the same time, just a little bit. So, could you say the last part again?
Yeah, no. So Ben Davies sample size of 1 as a left wing back, far too early to start kind of going, oh, we've got a solution. But I do think that Perisic, obviously, I agree with Stab as a problem, and I think that welcome to the Savra and Sean show, everybody. How you doing? I do think that
I think the thing is with
Davies did a good job against West Ham, though, didn't he, Sav? Do you think?
He did. Again, what I'm an advocate of is West Ham didn't have any interest in attacking, right?
Yeah.
So it left him quite free. Against Chelsea, if he's got Reece James up and down that wing, with whether it's Raheem Sterling or Madueke, now all of a sudden.
Sorry about that.
No worries, man. We held the full.
I fucking went to plug in my. I hate this little dongle for the Mac. I went to plug in my power source, and if you touch it when it's doing its thing, it just all fails, and that's a very unfortunate result. Sorry about that, y'all.
Yeah. No, I was just saying, look, I think Davis did do well, Jacob, against West Ham, but again, a team that didn't attack. Sunday. When you've got Reece James down the right-hand side, plus either Sterling or Madueke or Ziyech, whichever one plays there, now all of a sudden, when you're being asked to get up and back, let's see. Now, that's saying if he starts there. I mean, would you guys start him there, or would you go back to Perisic?
No, you do not play Perisic. I'm sorry.
No, I'm at the point where he's a liability.
Alive against that right side of Chelsea.
Yeah, that's the thing. You see him, Anthony. That was the first red flag of the season when we played United. Anthony had this man looking like he was a young child after school. Where's my mom? Where's my mom? He's turning around. Where'd the man go? Anthony's dancing around with it, fucking playing who's who with it, and it's like it was. I was like, okay, maybe it's just his age, and it was a little rattled by this fucking young Brazilian guy's highlights or something. I tried to excuse the man for the performance because we're all human. We all fuck up on a day. I accept that. And then it was like, I'm trying to remember who was the next winger I saw him struggle with after that. I was like, okay, maybe it's if you're average or better of a winger, Perisic can't defend you at all. He can't do anything to help. Doesn't matter if it's Ben Davies or Longley there, who for a time and a period, I thought Longley was our most consistent of the back three when Romero was injured or playing shitty, and then Dyer was playing shitty, and I thought he was for a moment the most consistent.
But the thing is, Jacob, that again, all the people that were excited about Perisic as a left wing back, it's all well and good doing it for Inter Milan, where they do have an amazing back three and dominate every game, right? Versus doing it in a Tottenham team where we don't have that, where we are defending a lot. When you look at Inter Milan's team all the way across, that team that won the league, I mean, what Bastoni, Skriniar and De Vrij as a free, or Ranocchia, whichever one. Perisic on the left, Hakimi on the right. Barella, Brozovic. I mean, there's a huge difference to doing that job for them than it is in the Premier League for Tottenham Hotspur. And again, this is why whenever I've said about Conte before, people get me wrong. I don't like his style of football, but I'm not saying he's a bad manager. It's just, for me, Perisic and Conte, these type of people, it's not where Spurs are at.
What makes you a good manager, though, Sav? Like, you take away his history. If you didn't know, if he was like a blind managerial test, right?
Yeah.
Like, so you were watching football that was presented by somebody who had a bag over his head, and you watched his inability to make substitutions, his inability to change formation, his inability to show anything other than abject loyalty towards players that aren't playing and not give chances to players that do. Like, what is it exactly about him that you've seen? If it wasn't for his historical strengths, what is it that makes him a good manager?
No. That's my point, Sean. I don't watch anything from him now and think, yeah, he's a good manager. I watch this Tottenham team the same way I have for most of the last 7 or 8 years and think, don't worry, we've got Harry Kane. Right? If I'm really honest, look, how many games where we stink out the place for the last 4 or 5 years, and you go, Kane will grab a goal from nothing, right? When I watch this right now, if I was a fan that didn't know who Conte was, I didn't know Tottenham Hotspur, I didn't know anything, I'd watch and go, the team play awful football.
Yeah,
he doesn't get substitutions. His substitutions just look awful.
Yeah,
he doesn't give anybody a go that isn't his favourite. There's nothing. But this is my whole point of why I've said since day dot, Sean, you know I have, Conte was never going to work at Tottenham, because this is a man like Pep, like the great managers. Like, look at Ancelotti at Everton. It's not going to work. You go and give Ancelotti Benzema, Modric.
Well, we saw Ancelotti at Everton, right? That was a fucking struggle for him.
Well, let me ask you that then. Let me ask you that because I'd love to know what your thoughts are about Pep Guardiola, right? Like, everyone calls Pep Guardiola the greatest manager ever, right? He's won all these trophies. He's so innovative, all this stuff. He's never actually ever had to deal with a below par squad, ever. Like, every team he's ever managed has had the world's best players in. Do you think you take Pep and you give him to West Ham? Do West Ham finish top 4?
No. But what West Ham do is they will play better football and he will coach them. The thing for me about Pep Guardiola is this. Yes. So this whole thing where, they've never done it at a smaller club. When you are that caliber of manager, like Pep Guardiola, right, this is why he's an elite manager and Conte isn't for me. Hear me out, guys. When you are that level of elite, if you're Pep Guardiola, Sean, if you're sacked today by Man City or you leave, who's picking up the phone to call you immediately, right?
Yeah, all the best teams out there.
All the best clubs in the world. So you would have no reason to go, I'm going to join Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, what makes him that elite? Like, if Harry Redknapp had the chance managing a team like Manchester City, you think would Harry Redknapp have been successful? Of course he would have done.
Possibly. But look, I think for me, what I'm about to say goes completely against everything football fans are. It's longevity and consistency for me. And I know as football fans, we react to every game and blah. For me, it's constantly evolving. You watch Man City, constantly evolving different ways of playing, getting right backs that now shuffle into midfield, interchanging in a game from a back 3 to a back 4 to a back 5, all in the space of 10 minutes. The way they keep the ball, right? You can be good players, but if you're not coached in how to keep that ball, if you're not coached in how to move that one touch, right, you will never do that.
I agree that a good bunch of players will fail with a bad manager, 100%, right?
Sure.
But I don't necessarily agree that just because you have managed amazing players well means that you are an elite manager. I think that everyone should test themselves at a lower level, and it should be
why.
No, I know. There's no need for them to do it because they're going to kick. But I'm just saying, for me personally, like, I would love to know whether Pep Guardiola is the real fucking deal. If you are, I'd love to see you handle it. I'd love to see you take over an Aston Villa and take them to the promised land. And I know that it will never happen. I know it's all like hypothetical, but I think until you see that, There's always going to be the argument that Pep Guardiola, he's like, you know, he's shagging in a brothel. Congratulations, mate. You're a player because you're shagging in a brothel. Like,
sorry, this is wrong. This
funny,
again shows people don't know their history. Sorry, I've got to call this out.
Okay.
Pep Guardiola at Barcelona was in the youth team, right? He was the youth team manager. Okay, they promoted him into the Barcelona job. At that time, that was not a peak Barcelona side. This was not a team playing well, hence why he got the job.
Wait, what year?
Hang on. Let me finish, right?
Yeah.
Right. And he went in there, and the first thing he did is completely opposite to what you and others say. The first thing he did was get rid of 4 or 5 of the superstars. He got rid of the superstars.
Zlatan, right?
Right? Huh?
Zlatan, right? Was one of those superstars he fucking cut his head off?
He got rid of loads of them. He was getting rid of Decos. He was getting rid of Ronaldinhos. He was getting rid of fucking Edmilsons. He was getting rid of loads of
replacing them with who, though?
Hang on.
Yeah.
Replacing them with talented kids, but they were kids, right? Replacing them with kids, talented kids, and he turned that team into arguably the greatest club side the world has ever seen. That is why he is considered an elite coach, right?
Okay. But he's still never done it. He's still never done it with a Stoke City, has he?
But who has? Who has?
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying I'm not arguing. There's no argument to me that I know he's a fantastic coach, but I'm just saying I would love to see if all you've ever managed is the best team, like Barcelona, whether or not he sold those best players.
They weren't.
They were always second best, weren't they? They were never third or fifth or seventh best in the Premier League.
Sean, but we're over. Look, this is the thing that we do as football fans, right? We just look at where they are in the league. Everything at that club since he's gone, that's probably the barometer. Look where Barcelona were when he was there, as the greatest club team the world has ever seen, arguably, depending, people will put in other teams, right? That dominated, right?
Yeah.
That he created the style that the Spanish coach then took all of the Barcelona players, right? So he basically created the best club team and arguably the greatest national team. He created that way of playing with them. Barcelona, trust me, I watched Barcelona a lot growing up.
That's fine. I didn't. So I'll take you on your word. I'll take you on your word. But on that basis, then what you're suggesting is that Pep Guardiola could take Everton to a top 4. Or Arsene Wenger could have taken.
Hang on. You've got to let me finish. No, that's not what I'm saying. My point is this: it's all well and good saying somebody's taken over and won a league. For example, let's use our very own Antonio Conte. Went to Chelsea, won the league title. What happened the year after? Right?
Left.
Year after, absolutely awful. What Pep does is he goes in, he completely revolutionises the way teams play. He revolutionises them. Right? Look at Man City when he came in. They couldn't play football like that. That takes. Look at their first year with him. They didn't know how to play his type of football, and everyone was going, he won't work over here.
Okay.
He coaches that. He goes and buys players as well. He doesn't go and buy Messi's. He doesn't buy Ronaldo's. He doesn't buy Mbappe's. He buys the players from the next level down that he thinks he can take and can coach and can mould into his way.
You're making the argument then. So this whole conversation started with my question, because I'm not saying I'm not even going to argue with you, because I wasn't massively into football, especially not European football back in those days. So I'm not arguing. I agree with all you're saying, but my original question was, could he do it with a mid-table team? And I wonder whether or not.
But do what?
Could he take a team from obscurity to consistent success by coaching average players into become better than themselves, by making the sum greater than the part?
Those two things don't go hand in hand. If he took over Aston Villa, there's still a ceiling as to what they can achieve even with great coaching, because at the end of the day, you do have to have that special dust sprinkled across the top. So he could probably take, I don't know why Aston Villa, he could probably take Aston Villa from, I don't know where they are, 13th, 6th or 7th. I've got no doubt he could do that. He would have them playing brilliant football in a year, right? And he would also go and get players that play his way, probably the next level down to what what Man City can buy, but they would still all be very comfortable on the ball. They would all, you watch them in a year, you'd see an ethos, you'd see a team and go, that's a Pep Guardiola team.
A better example then, could Pep Guardiola take Tottenham with the squad that we currently have and make us compete for the Premier League?
No.
Okay.
I don't expect any manager on the planet can make us compete.
Phil says Pep is Spurs manager, we win the league. Real quick, we are on an hour on this stream. I do want to say, if you haven't already, please do hit that like, hit that subscribe. We are on the way to 1,000 subs. I think we're like 60, 70 away from it. So please do hit that subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that like.
You're still in for 1,000, are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Had some nice growth, so we're not too far away now. Also, do participate in the poll. I don't like to put the poll up and say, have you liked the video, yes or no, because I think that's fucking annoying in my opinion. So I like to have fun with the polls. So what you get when you come over to United Spurs of America,
stream, it really annoys
every fucking stream, it's, have you liked the video? You should at least put an option, go fuck yourself. That's my opinion.
Why do people ask that? Is that an engagement thing? Is it like because you have to answer it?
I think it's because you have to answer it to get it out of your way so you can read the chat. So it's like...
Can I just say...
Guys on the wall as well. I agree with you on that one.
Can I just say, because I do like things to be accurate, right? So Phil P, big up my man Phil P. But when we're saying City were already winning leagues, though, as great a job as Pep has done, again... Google is our friend, and if we actually look, which I have taken 20 seconds to do it, but the years before Pep Guardiola came in, they weren't winning leagues. They finished second under Pellegrini, then fourth under Pellegrini. Then Pep came in his first year and finished third. Then, once he'd implemented, they went on and won everything. The problem with this whole argument about could managers do it with lesser teams, other than Mourinho at Porto, right, which was the ultimate in terms of winning the Europa League one year and then the Champions League the next year. Who has ever done that? Brian Clough?
The guy at Ranieri at Leicester.
Ranieri at Leicester. Okay, Ranieri at Leicester.
You're right there, Sean?
No, it's
that sounded like it got fucking...
It's the flavour of these crisps, mate. They make...
Okay. It sounded like it got crammed up in there and you're still answering the question.
These things are ridiculous. They could set up a nuclear weapon, I swear to God.
Again, the thing is as well, like Phil Coys is saying Mancini won the league. Yeah, he did, but that was way before Pep Guardiola was at Manchester City. It was 4 years. Hang on. Where was he? Roberto Mancini won the league in 2012. Pep Guardiola took over in 2016. It was 4 years before he was there. Let's not make it look like it was a complete succession. And we've got to talk about this. I'm sorry, right?
Big up, Paul Brown.
Ferguson built a team from Man United academy players. Hang on.
Adrian Schroeder.
Let's not conveniently forget the star-studded players they had playing alongside those kids as well. Let's not forget that. They had Paul Ince, right? They had Roy Keane. They had Paul Ince. They had players like Kanchelskis, Mark Hughes, Pallister,
Dennis Irwin,
Bruce, Cantona, Dennis Irwin, Peter Schmeichel. Let's not pretend that he built a whole 11 from kids. That's not true. Not true. Sorry.
Anybody? When was the last time a team other than Barcelona or Real Madrid won the Spanish league?
Atletico won it a couple of years back.
Yeah. So Simeone was in charge, right?
Yeah. Hang on. Listen. This is the power of Google. I'm just getting up for you. So, in Spain, I'm sure you've got a point of where you're going with this. So, Real Madrid.
No. I'm asking questions, mate. I'm asking. I'm not making a point. I'm asking questions.
No. So in the last 4 years, 3 different teams have won the Spanish league, as opposed to in the last 5 years in England, only 2 teams have won it.
2 teams. Yeah.
So. Sorry, last thing. Can I just say last thing, and then I'll pass back to you, Jacob.
Yeah, of course.
Phil Coys says, Sava, explain why we wouldn't win the league if Pep was manager. Because again, this is not understanding how Pep Guardiola works, right? The players that we have quite simply wouldn't be able to play Pep Guardiola's style of football. Pep Guardiola relies on fullbacks that can come and play comfortably into central midfield, centre halves who are wonderfully comfortable on the ball. John Stones, Laporte, Diaz, very comfortable. A goalkeeper that can play out the back. Right, so far, everything I've named there, we've not got. He relies on a playmaker like De Bruyne, Silva, Gundogan. We have not got that. He relies on players that can do one-touch, quick passing, tiki-taka football. We do not. We have runners. We have runners like Son and Kulu. We do not have that. So I don't understand why he would win the league with us. Sorry,
you'd concede that he would turn Emerson Royale into a better right wing back than we currently have. He would turn Pape Sarr into a far better central midfielder, and Skippy as well would probably.
Excuse me. On this show, he must be referred to as Ay Papi Mate Sarr.
Papi. Okay, I call him Daddy Longlegs myself. Daddy Sarr.
Sure, absolutely. He'll coach them better. He is a coach. See, I think Conte's a manager. If we're going to look at that, I think Conte's a manager that gets top players, that can win now. I think Pep is a manager that gets players in. If you look at all the players Pep buys, right, nearly all of them. There's always going to be the odd exception like Haaland and Diaz. Most of the players he buys, he brings in and slowly but surely he integrates them into the team. Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, Grealish, Mahrez, none of them went in and were the main man from day one. He coaches them into his way of playing. Conte's a bit more, right, get me the top players right now, slot straight in, go. And then he leaves after 2 years, if you get him for that long, and then he goes somewhere else.
Right? I agree with that. So I don't understand, though, what's the point of having him and the director of football? You know, if a director of football is necessary if you have...
Real quick, I also want to announce, for anyone who missed last week when it was just Michael and myself, I unboxed. I normally keep these kinds of things in their box, but because of him staying in Milan, I got Antonio Conte out of the box to heal him faster.
You want him back, do you?
I love Antonio Conte. Antonio Conte of last season, if the one who won me over last season. That I love that Antonio. I think Sav, I mentioned a few weeks
that the devil in him has left and gone to infect somebody else.
Okay, so there was a moment there where after the World Cup, when we first came back, his press conferences increasingly started to worry me, started to make my little hairs on my neck stand up, if you will. And I started to get a little worried about where he was, how he kind of sees things. And when he said the line of, my job isn't to win anything. My job is to improve the squad and play the way that Tottenham wants me to play. Like that's what my job is, to improve whatever it is that we're doing here, is how I interpreted that press conference. And when I heard that for one alarmed me, because if you're not fighting for trophies, you're not trying to win anything, then what are we trying for? Sorry about that. My son just came back from a walk, so he's getting his... Could you hear him screaming?
Yeah, man, it's good.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Good lad.
But
let it all out.
Yeah, hey, better let him out now than when I'm watching him. But I just think that started to scare me as a Conte enthusiast, because I've definitely been of the defending him. I've been on your chat many times, Sava, defending him. Yeah. Sean, same with yours. I've commented a lot on your Tottenham walk videos, which I do. I like those very much. And I like to see that people like them as well, because that's you work hard on those, and I like that people recognize that you put a lot of effort in those. So big up yourself on that. But I do be commenting on that.
I just take my dog for a walk. I'm literally killing two birds with one stone. I hate the fact that I have to take my dog for a walk, so I talk into a camera. There's no real effort, but I appreciate the kind feedback. It's very nice.
Do you know that? The strange thing with it, Jacob, is this, right? Look, as somebody who doesn't particularly... I don't like Conte's style. I don't think I've made any bones about that. I don't like his style. I've said from day one I don't think he's the right fit for Tottenham, right? But for me, when people constantly keep telling me that I should like him, and I'm not saying you, by the way, but you should like him, and, let's not sack another manager, all of that. Cool. But let's bring it back to it shouldn't matter what I think. The man himself is giving away everything. The man himself is saying, lower your expectations. Right? So when I'm told you should back Conte, that man himself is saying, I'm not here to win things. You should lower your expectations. That man, as it stands at the moment, isn't our manager by June. Right? So why do I keep getting told as a fan that, oh my God, this is a great manager, get behind him, back him? Hang on. There's no contract in place. Why am I getting behind a style of football I don't like when I don't even know if he's going to be our manager next year? What I've said, Jacob, all along, if he signs this summer, if he signs a new contract, I have nowhere to go with my whole, I don't like his style because he's here. But what I've equally said, Sean, you've heard me say this many times, right? Yeah. Should he sign a contract this summer, Jacob, all of these people that keep saying he's got to be backed, I feel sorry for him, blah, blah, blah. That's on him then. He's seen how we're run. He's seen what the type of players he's going to be given. He's seen how we work. If he chooses to sign a contract off the back of that, that's now on him, Jacob. That's now on him to say, I see how you work.
But we're not there yet, right, where we can say that's on him. This is my opinion, okay? So I do agree. If he signs that contract, I don't ever want to hear him bitching in the press conferences anymore. But personally, when he came in and he's first started saying this and that in the press conference, I liked it. It was challenging authority. I fucking love that. I love that when you challenge the plans in place, the structure you're in, because everything always needs a revamp. When I look at the roster, I think Ben said earlier in the show, which, by the way, big up Ben Kaufman, he said earlier in the show in the comments that Eric Dyer was playing for the team when he left high school. And I mean, I know Ben's a little younger than I am, but that's still damn near 10 years. And I think that's just too long for a player of that caliber. If you're Harry Kane, stay as long as you want, buddy. But if you're Eric Dyer, you're Ben Davies, you're these guys, Harry Winks, it's time to go. You're not.
That sums it up, Jacob. Jacob, that sums it up. If Conte signs a contract, knowing these things, seeing Dyer getting a contract.
But right now, or 3 months ago, these are just problems in his workplace that he's trying to fix. That's kind of my point. Is I've been lenient with him. It disappointed me to hear him say what you just mentioned, Savo. Now lower your expectations because I'm not here to fucking win anything. So don't get pissed when we don't win shit. It was kind of the way it sounded.
And by the way, sorry, go on, Sav. Sorry, mate, finish your point.
No, I was just going to say, coming back to this whole thing, like what Sean Norwich was talking about managers going to top clubs. Why did Antonio Conte come to Tottenham? Right, here we go. Right,
I was about to sign off, but now I'm going to have to go get on the beer and tuck in and bury this man.
Love you, Danny. How you doing, bro? Before we get my two questions were this with Conte. One, why did he join Tottenham Hotspur in the first place? He had seen the way Jose was treated. He'd seen the squad. Why did he join? Two, why was an 18-month contract put in place? It was put in place for all of the obvious reasons, right? So that if he walks away now and people go, oh my God, what a great manager. It was always meant to be this way if he walks away. Hence why the contract was 18 months.
Well, I mean, hence also why in the summer he said no. And what did we do? We went, whose option, second, third, fourth? I think he was our second or third option in the beginning. And then there was like, no, he's not coming here because of the assurances.
He said no to that, right? But then today or yesterday, I'm not sure what day it was, suddenly The Athletic print an article. And because The Athletic do it and it suits a narrative, everyone suddenly believes that Daniel Levy was the driving force behind the Richarlison deal. And I know Danny believes that as well. And maybe he was, maybe he wasn't, right? But the argument now is being presented that Conte didn't want Bissouma. He didn't want Richarlison.
No, that's lies.
He didn't want Longley. He didn't want Jed Spence. He didn't want Fraser Foster. The only player that Antonio Conte wanted was Ivan Perisic. If that is the case, well, then why, when he was asked...
Get them all on, Jacob.
Why, when he was asked in the
Royal Rumble,
was he happy? He said yes. At the end of the day, if Antonio Conte wasn't in charge of any of those signings and didn't want any of them, and yet still said he was happy, then this isn't the Antonio Conte that we signed up for. This is a pussy-whipped Antonio Conte who doesn't stand up for what he believes in.
But he's still semi-standing up at this point. I mean, maybe he's on his way to sitting down a little.
Back in the summer, I didn't even want Richarlison, so I'm not going to sit here and say
I didn't either.
Like,
I always thought he was kind of.
I hated the idea of Richarlison. You can check the tape on that. I didn't want him. I thought it was a massive waste.
Michael
of money.
was mad at me because I was not excited about Richarlison.
Actually, it was one of the things we agreed on with Richarlison. We both.
You agree with me all the time, Danny. You agree with me all the time, bro.
I think it's the other way around, Sean.
I was talking about like, listen, I got this particular
you two
one
need a room. There's so much love there that you're both.
I love him.
fighting.
He's a lovely fella. He's gorgeous. Every time I see him, we cuddle more than we even talk. We just sit there and hug each other every 5 seconds. But I was an advocate for signing someone like Emmanuel Dennis. Now I know he's been a shit show at Forest, so I got that particular name wrong. But my argument was, go and spend 15 million quid on a backup to Harry Kane.
I like that João Pedro instead from Watford.
Not 50, 60 million, and then go and spend the money on a centre back. And I stand by that. But if it's true, but if what the Athletics said is true, that it was Daniel Levy that was pushing it because he saw an opportunity, then, and if it's also true that it's Daniel Levy that pushed for Jed Spence, if it's also true that Conte wanted Bastoni but couldn't get him, and so we settled on Longley as a stopgap. In the end, what you have, if it's all that's true, is of the 7 players we signed in the transfer window, only one of them was Antonio Conte's selection. The other 6 were Daniel Levy's, or the 5 of the other 6 were Daniel Levy's. What sort of Antonio Conte are we talking about now? Because an Antonio Conte of yesteryear would never have tolerated that. So I don't want a meek, pathetic Antonio Conte that listens to Daniel. The whole point of having Antonio Conte was that kind of goes back to what Daniel Levy.
That kind of goes back to what Sava was saying from the jump, though. From what it sounds like to me is, okay, why was it an 18-month contract, and why isn't he signing an extension if he's happy here? I think that leads back to
why did he say he was happy in the summer? At the end of the summer, he was asked, "Are you happy with the window?" He said, "Yes, I'm happy."
That bank account probably looked good at that time. He said, "Damn, that paycheck went through. I like that."
So then we've got a different version of Antonio Conte to the one that we all bought into when we came along. Someone that's a proven winner that stands up to ownership.
Well,
apparently
I think
this version of him doesn't do that.
I think
fuck Conte then.
Who knows what it could be that's led to that difference? But I'm not going to say you're wrong, Sean, because I can as an observation.
Be right for once.
As an observation, I agree with that. I do think that this is a different Conte that we're facing. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, is it maybe his 3 best friends? That's speculation. Oh, is it maybe that he got his fucking organ removed? That's speculation. For me, what I think is like, I think he's just either one, broken about the prospects of this, and he knows and understands the assignment at this point, which is what he said to us, because he sounds kind of fucking broken. And honestly, I agree. I don't want a half-baked potato. I want a fully baked potato. Fucking put some butter on that bitch and some bacon bits if you're getting creative. But don't give me a fucking potato that's not fully cooked. I want the whole shaboodle, the whole damn thing. So I agree with you there.
In the summer,
Antonio Potato. Yeah, exactly. That's it. That's
what look. I got a fucking little doll of the man. I love Antonio.
Listen, Jacob. In the summer,
a blow up one too.
There were so many people in
there
the
he
summer.
is.
Oh no! I better get myself a beer.
Jacob, in the summer, right? There were so many people saying, Antonio Conte, if he's not backed with his players, he will walk before the season starts. There were so many saying it, right? And I was an advocate of do it. Danny, you know I was saying in the summer, do it then. Do it. Call out the owners, do it. Right? This is the thing for me. Yes, we can talk about money and how much is being paid. But I was so hoping that in the summer he would walk. Not because I don't like his football. I was so hoping he would walk and say, do you know what? I wasn't backed or something along those lines, so I've walked because we have different interests. So we have different motivations for this club. That way, all of this kind of Enoch in, Enoch out, has he been given his players, has he not? We all sit there and go, well, look, the geezer walked away. The geezer got 150 to 180 million, whatever was spent, still walked away because they weren't the players he wanted. The problem was, when he was asked, and I get why he's done it, when he was asked, the only one he called out was Jed Spence, right? The only one he called out was Jed Spence. And for me, even after the horrible window we just had there in January, walk. Even with everything going on now, walk away and show these owners for what they are. But he won't. He'll stay till the end.
Well, yeah,
What will
see the
happen
contract out, because also if he's gonna act
He
and,
wants his
and
money,
play
doesn't
this
he?
up, but think about it. If you have bad performances, you have a shit attitude, that's leading to someone getting sacked. In my opinion, that's the rain cloud that the thick cloud getting thicker and thicker. That's what that is to me. So it's either A, he's trying to get fired, get a bigger little payout, or does he get more, Sean? Correct me if I'm wrong. Does he get more if he gets sacked than if
Yes.
he sees his contract out?
Yes.
No.
Well, if that's the case, I'd be fucking showing my ass on the touchline. I'd be wearing a Speedo.
Sorry, why?
His
Why
contract,
would he
his
get
contract
more?
finishes in
Sacked?
June. His contract finishes in June. He's owed £15 million a year, give or take. So if you let it run down until June, then he walks away if he doesn't want to sign the extension. If you sack him now, you pay him the difference between now and June.
Yeah, doesn't
If
he
you
get the same
no,
money?
there's a clause in his contract. As far as I'm aware, allegedly,
I've heard that's been dismissed as well. But
allegedly, there's a clause in his contract that if they sack him, he's entitled to the extra additional year that's on his contract as a payoff.
But
as well.
I heard
It's
that
not
same
just-
thing, and it was dismissed by Dan Kilpatrick, or no, not him, the other one, the other fella. But who the fuck knows? No one's ever going to know that. So
Look,
anyone that's
I've
saying that
I've
shit
been
is
told.
speculating.
Look, the guys I speak to are very. I trust them more than anyone I speak to.
You
right?
said that they're
And all
Richarlison's
of
agent,
them-
right?
All of
Richarlison's agent.
one of them, his best mate is Richarlison's agent,
But
right?
that's not Antonio Conte's agent.
I'm not talking about that, Sean. These agents they know the agents of a lot of people, right? They work for agencies. I know 2 people who work for agencies. They're at the Tottenham training ground a lot. They see a lot of shit. They speak to a lot of other agents. Right?
Danny, does your
All I'm saying is, I believe that because look, Sean, look, let me tell you this, right?
With know everything that's in your employment contract.
Your HR will know, and the bosses will. The HR will definitely know.
Some
course they
random
will.
guy that's some random other employee won't know. Why would the agent of that of Richarlison?
Sean,
know what's Antonio's
look, I'm not saying it's that person. I'm saying I've been told by multiple people who have sources within agencies, right? And all I'm saying is I believe it because why is he still here then? Why is he still here? Half the board don't want him. Half the board do want him. Why is he still here, Sean?
Why is he here, Alex?
Because it's going to
Let's
cost
ask
too
Alex.
much. It will cost the club, right? The club. Look, you're the one saying this as well, Sean. The club reported a £50 million loss in their last financial summary, right? Why are they going to fork out? Are they going to fork out another 15 million plus what they have to pay him for the rest of the season, right? When it's not a lot of money they have to pay for the rest of the season. It's a couple of £1 million, whatever it is. So why would they just sack him? This is what I'm saying. If he obviously doesn't want to be here.
The idea that Tottenham are worried about spending 3-4 million, whatever. I mean, we spent 65 million quid on paying off. I think Pochettino, Nuno's, and Mourinho's contract were all due. Like they all signed their 3 contracts. We sacked Pochettino early into his 5-year one. We sacked Mourinho 1 year into his 3 one, and we sacked Nuno 1 year into. Oh, Mourinho 1 year into his 4, and Nuno 6 months into his 3. All 3 of those contracts are going to expire at the same time. So we had to pay 60-odd million quid in compensation to them.
Yeah.
Right?
Mourinho's contract was the highest out of the lot.
I take your point, Danny. I take your point that, like, if there is a fait accompli here, and listen, maybe you're right. Maybe there is that.
Do you know what, Sean?
Clause.
The reason, do you know what, mate? The reason I believe it is because if there is so much split decision in the club about Conte, right? He obviously, for whatever reason, looks like a dejected man. It doesn't look like he wants to be here anymore, right? Why would the club risk going further down the table, risk worse results if half of them don't even want him there? The only thing I can think of is, for me, my logical reasoning
is the contract.
It's because
that's
one
reason.
It's not just that, Sean. I've been told as well there are sponsorship deals, agreements in the club, right? Look, I know you might not believe this, right?
No,
I believe it. I know, but look,
I'm not saying I don't believe you.
I believe it, right? I believe it because I trust these guys I get the information from, right?
Yeah,
and
fine.
all I'm aware of is that it's not just that money that's going to have to be paid for the contract. There's sponsorship agreements that are tied in with Conte being the manager, right?
Okay.
So if he was to get sacked, right, then there has to be restructure of some of those sponsorships because of it's all because of the status of Conte, what it means. I mean, if you look at him statistically,
I would be incredibly surprised if Tottenham Hotspur have got contracts with third parties that are dependent on a specific employee being there. I'd be amazed if that was the case. But I'll take your point about the other thing.
Look,
but just to throw the other angle out there, maybe one of the reasons why Tottenham haven't just like cut the cord on Antonio Conte is because they don't want to necessarily. They haven't had the chance to have a proper conversation with Conte, and they're also trying to figure out what's the situation with Kane. Is he going to stay or go? And what does that is that dependent on Conte? So if you were to cut the cord on Conte now, just because you think that he's not going to sign, maybe all this stuff is like maybe there's take the guy on his word when he says. Saying, Sean. Hang on 1 second.
I know what you're saying.
Finish my point. When he says, "I'll have the conversation at the end of the season about my contract." Maybe there's truth to that, and maybe that's why they haven't let him go yet, because they don't know what Kane feels about whether or not he'll stay if Conte's here or not.
There's a lot of element towards that. Look, I've already said my opinion on Kane. I think if Conte goes, Kane will not want to stay around anymore, regardless of the manager. And for me, like I said, I was told it's going to cost the club over 25-30 million pounds to sack Conte right now if they were to sack him.
Can I challenge this?
But just before you do, mate, Tony Rodriguez, why are you? I don't know why Tony's going after me in the comments this evening.
Yeah, Tony,
Sean's
a Spurs fan. I know that for a fact. I know Sean personally as a human. He is a Spurs fan. He just has a different opinion, sees things differently, and I think that's what makes the world such a beautiful place.
I just want to say to Tony, look, Sean's just deluded. That's all.
Sean's just deluded. Hey, Alex, we'll say hi to Alex.
We're all deluded in our own ways. That's the reality of it, right?
Just before Alex comes in,
Son's world class. He's always going to be world class, even if he doesn't score in 20 matches. He's world class. He's my father, so I'm deluded in that sense. I welcome it. I have a fuck. Look, it's still in the box, Sava. I know you ain't seen these, but it's still in the box. Sonny ain't coming out the box neither. He doesn't need me to do some voodoo like Antonio. I brought Antonio out the box to get it done. I need Antonio from last season. I need those pictures of him fucking screaming his lungs out. But can he physically? That will remain to be seen. Alex, hello. I just want to say hi to you. You haven't said hello. You've joined the show.
Sava was going to say something.
I just wanted to finish this point, right? With Conte. Look, I just think, for me, I think that there isn't a point in him being here. He doesn't obviously want to be here, right? He's not, like Savo made a good point, right? That he's obviously telling people to lower their expectations. He's not here to win titles. So if you're not going to win titles with someone who actually wants to win titles, it makes no sense. They have two different visions. It clashes. It's not going to work. So there's no point. And obviously, like Sava said, right? For Conte, for the moral thing to do for Spurs fans, if he cared that much, would be to leave the club, right? But
not now. Not now, by the way, Danny. That ship sailed.
Yeah, okay, that ship sailed, but
he should have done it in the summer if he wasn't happy with these signings.
Or he should have done it in January, even, Sav. He could have done it in January, right? Sure. But he didn't, because he cares. Then. Yeah, he cares more about the money. We can see that. It's obvious he cares more about the money, right? So, look. Go on, Sav. I want you to add.
So I just really want to, just before Alex comes in, this whole thing as well. I've really got to question this whole. Well, if Conte leaves, Kane will definitely leave. He won't stick around. I'm sorry, I've never seen Kane. I don't see what the correlation is between Conte being here and Kane being here. Kane must hate this football. Kane must absolutely hate this football where he's not assisted at all, where no one creates for him, where he has to come back and do absolutely everything on his own. I can't see why this link is made of if Conte goes, he goes, because even before, Kane made it clear a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, he wanted to leave this football club. He wanted to go and win things.
But now he sounds like he wants to stay.
Huh?
Now he sounds like he wants to stay a little bit, does he not? Or is it just the sentimentality of scoring the goals and everyone loving on him?
Proof is in the pudding, Jacob, right? It's the same thing. As I keep saying, all these people who keep saying to me, back Conte, back... The guy hasn't even backed himself. There's no contract in place. What am I backing? Like with Harry Kane. If Harry Kane wants to stay here, he'll sign a new contract. If Harry Kane signs a new contract, again, I question his ambition as a footballer. If he stays here, again, again, I'm
Where's
sorry.
he going to go and win something?
Pardon?
Where's he going to go? Where he's going to win?
I don't think he cares right now. To be honest with you, Sean.
Anywhere.
I don't.
Well, where?
Yeah, I don't
Where?
think it doesn't really matter where. To be honest,
It does
with you.
matter. It does matter. Where is he going to go?
Why does it
A,
matter?
guaranteed to win something, and B, going to still get the Premier League record.
Hang on. When we say guaranteed, no club is guaranteed.
Well,
but probabilities, right? Probabilities are if he goes to Man United on their trajectory under this manager, right? The probabilities are that if chuck Harry Kane up front for this Man United team right now, they're winning that league.
Yeah.
Look how close they are to Man City and Arsenal. And
I
this
agree.
This is a team that he's taken over in the summer. You now chuck Harry
They're
Kane
only 6
into
points
that.
ahead of us, mate.
Hey, Sean, come on. Who's more likely to win that league this year?
I take your point, but when you say that, like, let's call like they're not that far fucking ahead.
No,
And
no,
do you know what the worst thing about it is,
No,
Sean? That we're
no.
actually playing really shit, and they're not that far ahead.
We're playing
Hang on,
really
hang on.
shit.
Yeah, we're playing really shit.
Yeah,
and
we're
then
playing really shit. They're playing the best football they've ever played in 10 years, and they're not that far ahead.
Yeah.
That's not true. Again, these are sweeping generalizations, right? First of all, when you watch Man United, they're good in bits. A lot of it is still bad, and I stream with Man United fans that will tell you.
That's fair. That's fair.
There's a lot to be worked on, right? I'm talking about trajectory, right? I'm talking about Man United at the moment are talking about having billionaire owners come in that are talking about we want to restore the club to where it belongs. If they go in and take Man United over and Man United have a summer like they had last summer and chuck Harry Kane in there, a bloke that guarantees them 20, 25, 30 Premier League goals, right? Man United could win that league. It's not happening at Tottenham because we don't have that trajectory and we don't have the ambition.
But Sava, their stadium has leakies and rats and
It doesn't matter.
It's nasty.
Can I just
Who
say
wants to
something
hold a
about-
trophy
you
when
know-
a fucking rat comes out the
you know-
damn thing? That's
On the
nasty.
pitch, man. On the pitch.
Sava, you know what you were saying about how the correlation between Kane and Conte? The reason I say that is because, for me, what I've seen Conte say and what I've seen Harry Kane say, it seems they want the same things in terms of they want to both win trophies, right? They both have the ambition to win trophies. So if you then take the manager who, look, it's so clear to see Harry Kane was out of this foot, like his mind was completely out of this football until Conte came in, right? He didn't care about playing for Spurs. As soon as Conte came in, it completely switched a trigger in his head. He's like, right, now I've got a manager who's actually ambitious. And I feel that maybe that we might actually be onto something with this manager, right? So then if you take that manager out and he's walked away and not signed a new deal because he believes he can't do the job that he wants to do at this club because of the restrictions or maybe his personal issues as well, everything all in together, right? The way the club is run, then Harry Kane's going to look at that and be like, well, the one person I kind of put my faith in and I wanted to believe again that I could actually win things here, he's now walking away because he doesn't feel the same way. I'm sure they'll have conversations if he was to walk away.
Look how long Kane's been here. He knows how the club operate.
Yeah, but
even if
Sava,
Conte signs, we know how. Look, Danny, you're one of the biggest Enoch and Levy outers I know, right? You and I both know Conte here, Conte not here. The owners do not want to go to that next level to back a manager to the point where we challenge. Yeah. This is my whole point with a Man United. Man United do. Man United went out in the summer, and bought in, not at the time, but bought in one of the best centre-backs in Europe in Martinez. Brilliant player, right? They went and bought one of, if not the best holding midfielders in the world in Casemiro. Yep. They went and bought Anthony, who's exciting. They bought in Christian Eriksen, who's got years and years of Premier League and international experience, right? They then, in this window, Eriksen got injured. And what did they do? In 24 hours went, hang on, we'll act like a big club. Let's go to Bayern Munich and take one of their midfielders on loan, right? Yeah. That is how you operate if you've got ambition, right? Of course. The problem is, when we're talking, we're only 6 points behind United or 7 or whatever it is, that's fine now. The trajectory, United are going that way.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I don't think we're going down. We're just there constantly. United are actively doing that.
No, I agree. I do think as well, though, right? You've got to look at it like this, right? If Conte walks out of the club, you have to look at the the picture, and you got to look at from Kane's perspective. If you think that he feels that maybe it's not going to happen for him at Spurs in terms of trying to win a trophy, right? Now, there is the other side of it, right? He has got a contract at Spurs, and if any club that wants him doesn't pay what Daniel Levy wants to sell him for, he's going to stay, right? Just like what happened against Man City, they gave us allegedly a £70 million offer with whatever a player, and Tottenham rejected it straight away, right? I also heard about Chelsea bid of 100 million was rejected straight away, right? Now,
fuck Chelsea.
If a club in the summer comes in, right? Look, I've been told, you don't have to believe it. I've been told if a £100 million offer comes in for Harry Kane in the summer from like a Man United or a big club like that, I'm sure that Tottenham will look at it and they'll start to think about whether they're going to sell him or not. And I've been told that's the number they want. With
1 year left on his contract,
this is what I'm saying. It's a 30-year-old who's 1 year left on his contract, £100 million offer. I'm not sure that Daniel Levy's going to say no to that, right? So if Man United come in for,
there's nothing wrong with that, mate.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying.
At some point, Harry Kane will have scored his
Let me
last
finish the
goal for
point.
us,
Let me finish the point, right? I personally think Harry Kane is going to leave Tottenham. Whether it's this season or next season, I don't know. If a club doesn't come in for the offer that Daniel Levy wants, he will stay, see out his contract, and he'll leave in the summer 2024 for free. That's what I think will happen, unless a club does come in for that £100 million offer, which I don't think will. I think he'll leave on a free in 2024, regardless of who the manager is in the summer.
Jay Ashraf says that it seems like real quick, you brought up City. I want to ask, anyone here, Kane for Haaland, straight up swap? Y'all taking it or no?
Oh, straight up swap. Yeah, Haaland
straight swap.
To Tottenham, doesn't he?
Nah, fuck him. Don't like his hair.
You don't like his hair? It's nice.
He's a Norwegian Britney Spears.
But whenever Haaland is not Britney Spears. He doesn't have a butterfly tattoo. He doesn't have a butterfly tattoo. If he gets a butterfly tattoo, I will say he's the Norwegian Britney Spears. But it's just a thought out there. Jay Ashraf commented saying that it's not working for Haaland over there. I beg to differ. The man's still leading the league in goals, so hard to say it's not working. But real quick, while there is a break in the conversation, I want to bring on a second debutant. So, Sava, you are not going to be alone after I bring on Mr. Phil, his debut on United Spurs of America. Big up, Phil. We've got a full house today.
All right, Phil.
No Michael. This is what happens. The kids get out to play. And,
Hi, Phil.
And I, for one,
poor Alex hasn't said a word yet.
I know, poor Alex. We haven't said hello. He graciously passed the topic on to Sava, which Danny then took and ran with it, which I have no problem. I enjoy the conversation with every single one of y'all here. So, Phil, Alex, hello. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, of course. So where were we? We can ignore the Haaland Kane straight up swap, but I don't know. I just thought about anyone else. Would you take it? Because maybe Haaland could be a difference maker for us.
Everyone's doing that reactionary thing that football fans do again. You've got Erling Haaland that's come into this team. He's already banged in 34 goals in all competitions.
God.
Everyone's telling you it's not working. As we've said before, he will need time to adapt to how Man City play. City will need time to adapt to how he plays. He's still banging in goals for fun. And everyone's going, oh, obviously it's not going to work. They'll get rid of him. They're not going to get rid of Erling Haaland. Let's call it for what it is. When Man City didn't win the Champions League, everybody in the world said they need a striker. They go and get a striker and everyone's going, oh, it doesn't work. They don't need it. Listen, the guy's a beast. The guy will break all Premier League records if depending on how long he stays in.
I agree with you, Sava.
I could probably say that he's going to hit the Ronaldo and Messi figures before he retires. I think I could see him doing that.
Yeah,
if he carries on the way he's going.
He's got over 200 career goals. And he's 22.
That is absurd. That is absolutely absurd. This man's going to shatter records.
To put that in perspective, guys.
I'm going to go make some popcorn because I think the box office is about to begin.
Hang on, Alex is winding up. He's right.
Hey, it's that feature presentation.
It's to speak because he wasn't getting to get his moment because obviously Sean and Danny need their moment, don't they? Together, don't they? But anyway, as I said before. Firstly, Sean, you're saying that we haven't had the conversation with Conte already. Well, it's been 2 years, bruv. So when was the conversation actually going to happen, bruv? You know what I mean? The conversation was going to happen.
What conversation?
Well, the conversation about transfers, bruv, and what the club want and everything else. He's already told you already that he doesn't want it. That they don't have the same ethos already, bruv. You know what I mean? Sorry, but I don't know where you're going with that, by the way.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, you should know what I'm talking about, bro. Because as I said, no, well, Danny, you're still deluded, aren't you? You're still in deluded world, aren't you? Because as I said before,
Alex, learn to speak English properly,
and
then
talk.
Speaking.
The main event is speaking.
Post office. That's what you are.
The main event is speaking.
You're the sub event, Alex.
The main event is speaking.
Alex,
listen to
yourself.
25 minutes to speak. You've had your 25 minutes to speak to make yourself known, Bob. It's the main event time.
You're not even speaking clearly. No one knows what you're talking about.
No, this is what I'm saying. No.
Explain yourself. Jesus fucking Christ.
Let me finish.
Explain yourself.
Let the apprentice sit there and listen and the master talk. That's how it goes.
You're not a master of shit. You're a fucking flop.
Right, so this is what I'm saying.
I call Sean a flip-flop, but you're the biggest flip-flop.
I got rudely interrupted by Daddy over here. Yeah, the deluded Daddy. Here I go and say, like I said, if the conversation's not happened already, right, which it doesn't look like it's happened already, it's never going to happen. Yeah, that's why Conte needs to walk. Yeah, it's funny, yeah, because I used to always disagree with Sava, but all of a sudden, I keep him agreeing with him every single time. And to be fair to him, he's been actually consistent. What he said. That's
not something to celebrate.
He's consistent.
That's not something to celebrate. It means you're walking into the deluded
tunnel. No. Because Shawnee boy. I see you on Top 6 shows, bruv. You're having like a sponsored silence on that show, bruv, because you don't say nothing on that show, bruv. That's what you say. You don't say anything on that show because you can't say anything to them because we're so awful. That's why you can't say nothing on that show, bruv. Yeah, because all the other teams who are on the top table, like Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester United, Manchester City, you can't say nothing to them, can you? You cannot say anything to them, No, you can't.
I don't understand
what's going on. On Top 6 shows, you ever got a sponsorship? You're like a sponsored silent. You're like a sponsored silent. Yeah, you're like a sponsored silent.
I wait for my turn to speak, and then when I speak, I bury people on any angle I can gather. I don't know what this has got to do with the fact that Sava's walked into your corridor of delusion and weirdness.
No, it's not delusion, bub. It's talking the truth, bub. It's talking the truth. That's what Professor of Truth and Entertainment does, bub. And unfortunately, Bob, it just rattles you because all you can talk about is finance, and that's the only thing that you can come at me at the moment is finance. Other than that, you can't tell me anything because Brighton are bantering us because they get good managers and good players and showing how to do it. I'm
a fan of Brighton. What are you talking about?
And Leicester have shown it how to do it as well, bruv. And look what they've won. Oh yeah, they won the FA Cup, bruv. What have we won? What have we won? Oh yeah, Champions League, top 4. Yeah, top 4. Because that's a trophy now these days, isn't it? That's a trophy now these days, isn't it? Oh, Bill Nicholson must be so proud. Must be so proud at the moment. Must be so proud of that, by the way. Must be so proud of that, by the way. They've won championships, bruv. Won championships, yeah, when we're actually relevant, yeah. I don't even know if you remember that, bruv, when you were talking about Daniel Levy, saying, "Oh, Daniel Levy's so good. He's so good. Oh my gosh, I love Daniel Levy so much. Oh my gosh, he's giving me everything. He's giving me a stadium. He's giving me top 4. He's giving me Champions League. But what have I won, bruv? What have I got? What have I got to say to bruv? And then we're trying to banter Chelsea. What have they won? Champions Leagues, bruv. Premier Leagues, bruv. FA Cups, bruv. You know what I mean? Would you want a piece of that? I want a piece of that, bruv. I don't want a piece of this. You know what I mean? And you're telling me that Kane's going to stay at Tottenham, bruv. If he's been here 10 years and he's still not won a trophy, that's telling you something, bruv. He needs to go, bruv. You need to leave, bruv. That's what he's telling you. You know, Sol Campbell's told you that already. And look what happened there.
Eric Dyer leave and go and win a trophy somewhere else.
Eric Dyer, Virgil van... No, we've got to change his name. We've got to change his name because we've got to say, where's Virgil van Dyer right now? Where's Virgil van Dyer? Where is he? Where is he, bruv? Where is he? Oh, he's getting a new contract. A new contract. That's a good defender for us. A new contract. You having a laugh? I want him out the club, bruv. I've had enough of him. Yeah, but you on the stream with David Harris, who's told you this already, bruv. And you're telling me that he's playing really well. No, bruv, he's not playing very well. He's getting bantered by every single bloody Premier League club in the Premiership. I'm sorry, I'm done with him. I am done with this guy. I am done with this guy, bruv. And if you're backing this guy, you're deluded, and that's it. And I leave it back to Jacob to talk his truth, and that's it. And I'm done.
The main event, love it. I absolutely love it. I did have to step away for a second, so I do apologize. I missed a little bit of that, but
I wish I stepped away for a second because all I heard was a lot of fallacies.
I love the love affair here that we got.
I'm just gonna go make some waffles to suit the show at the moment.
So I missed a bunch of waffles, I see.
I'm gonna go get my Havianas out from the cupboard because I haven't worn them since last summer. See if I can get the flip flop kind of motif going on.
Well,
I love Sean because Sean. I just love Sean because I just love to banter him. It's just so easy to banter. Honestly, Danny's just deluded anyway. And I love Saba as well because I like to banter him as well. But to be honest with you, like I said, I can't disagree with this guy. I can't disagree with this guy. I can never disagree with this guy. I can't disagree with this guy. I never can disagree with this guy.
Saba is good. I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning and I'm going to see Saba's morning dose of Tottenham, and it's going to be a complete flip reversal of everything he's been saying. And he's going to say, listen, I heard last night that apparently Alex THFC, Mr. Box Office, is agreeing with me. On that basis, everything I've been saying, forget it. I'm going 180. I think Antonio Conte should stay. I think that Harry Kane will be here next season. I think that
Sean, that's just flexibility of thought. We know this. That's Sava showing some flexibility of thought. That's one of my favorite.
Sava's been consistent, and I'm not just bigging him up for the biggest sake because, like I said, I don't mind disagreeing with anybody. I can battle anybody, but like I said before, no, I don't. Because you just don't like the rattling. You just don't like me rattling you so easily, bruv. That's all I need to say, bruv. You know what I mean? Like I said, Sava talks more truth than anybody on the stream, bruv. He's the most refreshing person on stream right now, bruv. Because I'd rather listen to him than some of these people that want to make people happy and say what other people want to say. You know what I mean? At least Sava tells his truth and everything else, and that's it. You know what I mean? Even my boy Danny sometimes talk the truth, but sometimes he's deluded as well. So sometimes you need to tell him off sometimes, put him in detention sometimes. You know what I mean? That's all they need to say. You know what I mean? So that's the thing, Bob, man. That's all they need to say, Bob.
Oh, my goodness. This show could, with all of y'all, this show could go on for 6 hours. I swear.
Around to everyone that you know. You know Jacob, you know Sam. I don't know if you know Phil, but you left me out. So you obviously, I apparently never talk my truth. I never talk the truth. All I talk is waffle. Apparently, is that what you're saying?
No, I love you. I love you, Sean. Because the thing is, I love Sean because Sean, I can just. You give me that fuel to come and banter you every single time, bruv. I love you, bruv. I love you. We need you, Sean.
I think this is true because literally when I brought you in the show,
for Mr. Box Office Unleashed. That's it.
Yeah, when I brought you in, Sean, as soon as I brought you into the show, I saw Alex in the comments like, "All right, get me on." And so I think it's nice, a chemical reaction.
And let me have it. But then when he starts talking, he never actually gets around to letting me have it. And I never, I'm always waiting for that. I'm always waiting to have it. I haven't had it.
It's coming when it hits. Come on. It's like it's just an eternal wind up, but I love it. I love the banter. I love
that. It's the eternal.
You're gonna throw. Hey, he's waiting for you to throw it over the plate, but the pitch that he wants, you know. This is supposed to be a Chelsea preview show, believe it or not. So I did, before I wrap up the show, there are a few things that we need to tidy up on the end of as far as, previewing Chelsea. Because if someone happens to stumble upon this channel and they're like, "Ooh, let me watch some of that Chelsea preview," I do at least want there to be maybe a cup of tea's worth of preview. So let's start this off. I want to ask starting 11, the predicted. You could say what you would like, but either way, just give me a predicted 11. I'll start with you, Phil. Since you were the last one to join, I'll let you be first in line. See how that works in America? It doesn't make sense. It's just you show up late, you can walk in first, and I will serve you up a Big Mac. Let me hear your starting 11, just because I haven't heard you speak in a minute.
Yeah, I think obviously it's going to be Forster because Lloris is out. I'd stick with pretty much the same team as West Ham, really. Ben Davis looked all right left wing back. I'd bring Langley in and Dyer with Romero, and I'd probably bring Porro in this game because I think Chelsea can be got at the moment, and this is the best time to play him and get a result against them. So. Obviously, the midfield is what it is at the minute. We've got Skip and Sarr. I think Skip will start with Højbjerg. I think he just gets the edge for me, just purely for the experience on the pitch. And then Sonny doesn't start for me. You bring him on, latter stages of the game, and I'd start Richie, Kane, and Kulu up front.
Okay. So you think Kulusevski's form hasn't called for any kind of look or like a glance at maybe he should be substituted as well? I'm of the mindset if you're going to bench our Golden Boot winner because of his performances, admittedly himself he's acknowledged. I think you got to sit the other players who are not performing well, maybe who aren't even 100%. And I think Kulusevski falls in that category. You still sticking with him, sticking true? You think he'll come good?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think we have. I mean, Danjuma plays on the left. That's his best position. On the right, I don't know whether he can do that role. But yeah, Kulu's the only one really on the right wing that can play that role. So. Sonny, for me, is best coming off the bench at this moment in time. He's more effective coming off the bench. When he's starting, he's just not, hitting that form at the minute. So I think you bring him off the bench, in my opinion.
Okay, very well. I'm getting a little Wi-Fi signal alert saying like it's not very stable. So apologies if I'm fucking lagging out or if I look like pixelated or whatever. But Alex, I'll come to you real quick. You starting 11, does it differ from Phil at all? How do you see this thing shaking out as far as when the 11 comes out?
I think it's going to be the same 11. I'm still not I'm not sold on Emerson still. I'm sorry. I think it's just going over the top, I think. For me, I'm sorry, I'm not there yet. I'm sorry. West Ham last week was okay. I was there. I didn't think it was that great as far as I'm concerned. I think we did a good job, and that's it. Sonny, I keep him on the bench. I don't know what's going on with Danjuma. I don't know what's going on with him. That confuses me. And the fact that
why does it confuse you, Alex?
Well, why buy him in the first place then if he's not going to play him?
We didn't buy him.
It's an opportunistic loan.
Well, what's the point of getting him in the first place then?
Because he's better than Hill.
And Kulusevski was also 50-50 too. And I think it's all. I see Danjuma as a player. I think he could play anywhere in the front three. I know he primarily did left and striker in his career. To me, when you're asked to drop back defensively as much as you are in this system, it doesn't really matter if you're primarily a right winger or left winger. I think you could interchange those. You could put Son on the right and start Danjuma over there. You could, in matches we've seen them switch sides anyway. So I don't think it's too crazy of an idea to fuck it, throw Danjuma out there. I don't know. I do see it like why not at least give him a go? We gave Lucas Moura a couple of minutes the other night, but we didn't give Danjuma
I just don't
anything.
see the point. I don't see the point of buying him if we're getting him in if you don't bother with him. You know what I mean? I don't see the point, and that's again another a pointless signing. You know what I mean? And that's why I don't like the idea. At the end of the day, I just think for me, I agree with what Sav is saying. I think Conte just needs to walk. And it's not against anything about. I understand what he's going through health wise, but I'm looking at the football side. I just don't see the point. I do not see the point. You know, I've made my point already. I want Pochettino in charge because I think we need to get back to where we were playing good football. Because I don't think the football's going to be any better. I don't think we're going to play very well tomorrow. I think we'll win tomorrow. just because we've got the better strikers, and that's been the point for many.
You think we're going to beat Chelsea?
Positivity. Save the prediction. That's the next part. I'm gonna go around. I'm gonna get score predictions and game.
It's just I'll give the reason why I'm saying at the moment I don't think it's going to be any different to what we've been playing before, because our team is just the way it is at the end of the day. Because of the limitations of Emerson. Limitations of Davis, who for me last week again was okay. He wasn't great. He did well in spells again. He did well for that goal. Yes, he did. But what was he doing for the last last part of that match as well? You know what I mean? It just for me, it just people in just holes at the moment, and I'm not enjoying watching it. I was bored again. I don't enjoy watching Tottenham that much. I've not enjoyed watching Tottenham since that prime season when Pochettino was in charge. And
so to round out your starting 11, who you said you don't want Emerson Royale. So are you starting Pedro, Porro, and then who are your center backs?
Well, no. I'm saying that Emerson is for me at the moment will start because of the fact that he's scored the goal. That makes more sense, doesn't it?
The hype is real right now.
But I'm not on that train yet. I'm sorry. He needs more games to prove it to me. Because where has he been? How long? I've heard so much waffle saying, "Oh, because Porro's turned up now. He's decided now to turn up now as a player. Now he knows how to play right wing back." That's ridiculous. Absolutely.
Or
ridiculous.
maybe. Okay, I don't want to. We can go down the Emerson rabbit hole. Look, so you're saying you think Emerson will start? You would start Porro personally. Who are your 3 center backs?
Are we still only on the right wing back situation?
That was
for 15 minutes, and we still haven't got past the fucking right wing back. Come on, box office.
Well, he got a little bit of his overall thoughts out there.
Because the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying at the moment is because I've only been here for about 20 minutes or something. I didn't really say that much anyway, so I'm getting it in, Sean. That's what I'm doing.
I love it, Alex.
So that's
how
I do it every single
I understood
time.
you, buddy.
If you don't know, get to know, bruv. That's all I need to say, bruv.
And that's all I need to say about that.
That's it. But as I said, you've got. I mean, I'll maybe put. I mean, it's again. You got Romero, Romero, Dyer, Dyer. Unfortunately, we've got Dyer, so I've got to do Dyer, and maybe Langley. That's it. Okay. That's all I can say at the moment. And then the
Davies or Perisic at the left. You saw it live.
It has to be Davis. It has to be Davis, doesn't it?
Has to be Davis.
Playing well at the moment. All these players I'm saying is default by default, and obviously the strike force for me is either I think it's going to be Kane, Kane, Kulusevski, and I would like to see Danjuma.
Okay.
I'd like to see Danjuma because I think Richarlison's playing absolute crap.
Didn't do enough for you at West Ham, Richarlison?
Richarlison's crap.
All right, and then in the midfield, Hojbjerg, Skip?
Yeah, Hojbjerg and I don't know why Sarr didn't play, to be honest with you, but I think Skip maybe by default again. I think he was okay. Again, I don't think he was. I don't think he was that great as well last week as well. So that's Fair just enough. Me at the moment. But I'm just explaining to you that I don't think it's going to be that great in terms of the football, because I know that people said to me that you're expecting Tottenham to come out the blocks. I don't think we're going to come out the blocks at all. I don't think we are. I don't think we're that type of team. If we're coming out the blocks, the other team are not playing well. Or we've just got that much energy, but we're gonna flounder during the end of the match, though. For me, the second half, because we ain't got the energy to do it. Kane and Danjuma. I don't think the team have got the energy to do it.
I think with Emerson though, Alex. I think there is something in that with Porro, because competition is healthy for me with players coming in, so. I think there is something in that where Emerson's, his recent performances have upped his level.
But Phil,
I do feel there is something in that.
But Phil, that's just clutching at straws, mate. Because where has he been the last how many years, though, bruv? I'm sorry. He had competition with Doherty as well, bro. But that
I'm not too worried though.
Porro is miles better than Doherty is.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter with your miles better, bro. It's just it's expectation. It's trying to put yourself up there, bro. You know, you're battling with somebody that's really kind of below your level or upon your level. So you're sitting there saying, "Oh, shall I just be a little bit above him?" Oh no, I should be a little bit more above him. You know what I mean?
It's competition for places, Alex. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, Porro shouldn't be a signal to try and get him his level up, bro. I'm sorry. That's just pathetic.
I can see both sides of that, Alex. But
I'm sorry, but it's just taking them. And I know Sean's now clutching at straws again because he wants to get his 5 minutes of fame again. You know what I mean? Because he's telling me that's good enough. No, it's not good enough, bro. It's not good enough.
Sure, you're clutching, mate.
You're clutching, bro. I'm sorry.
Danny.
This is the reason why our level at our club is below. Yeah, I'm sorry because this is why we got to look at the overall structure of this club, because when you don't have a target of what we need to do moving forward, what is our big target right now? Yeah, and that's why we've got mediocrity. Sorry, I can't even say the word mediocrity at our club, as far as I'm concerned, and that's Emerson.
We haven't got it in the first place.
That is Emerson in a nutshell. Because everybody's now saying, "Oh, he's so good at the moment. He's really good because he's just lifted up his level to the point where he needs to be, bub. Where he needs to be. You know, Dyer is now looked as a good defender.
But here's an example.
Dyer is not a good defender, bro.
But here's an example with Romero, though. I mean, his recent performances with Romero. If he had two quality top centre halves in the back with him, his performances would rise as well. You know, it's all about competition for places, not quality players in your squad. In my opinion,
but it's also quality players in the squad, but it's also having players that are actually good development-wise to get to that level as well. You know what I mean? And I think the expectations at the moment, because even Conte said it, he's absolutely made a fool of our club, by the way, because he's looked at our club and thought, is this the way to do a football club? Even Perisic, who's no Don, is saying this as well, because he's been at Juventus. So I mean, I don't even know what else to say. It's just embarrassing. He's just completely made a fool of our club because he's looked at it and thought, this is not an elite club. This is not how an elite club acts. You know? And that's it.
Danny,
that's all just complete conjecture and speculation.
No, it's not conjecture, Sean. Again, it's just talking truth again.
God damn it.
I'm sorry. Give it back to somebody else, because Sean and me are just going to go at each other.
No, Danny, I want to get your starting 11 before we keep going.
That was the longest starting 11 I've ever heard.
Hey, I always say this YouTube thing.
Sam's falling asleep. Look.
Danny, not only is it the starting 11 for this week, it's the starting 11 for the next fucking 700 games. The way that
Alex, thank you for your contributions. I appreciate your because you made some valid points that I actually agree with some of them. So I appreciate your contribution, but I do want to get everyone starting 11 real quick. Danny, hit me with your starting 11, my friend.
I think it's going to be the same starting 11 as West Ham. I can't see it changing. I don't think that he will change, or they will change it, because it's going to be a joint decision between Stellini, the coaching staff, the manager. Okay. I can't. The only person I could see changing is maybe Son coming back in because of that goal. Yeah, because of the goal. I mean, when we were listening to Stellini after the game, he was saying that obviously when Son is 100%, then he will always play. But the way he kind of sounded was that he's not 100% yet in terms of his fitness, or in terms of where they believe that he needs to be in order to really kind of thrive, or whatever the way they wanted to describe it. Personally, I wouldn't change it. I mean, I know Porro would be maybe nice to see him play, but I just don't think they're going to risk it against Chelsea. I think that Conte is not he's very risk averse. He always goes for what he believes is the best option, and I don't think that he wants to make loads of changes. And against someone like Chelsea, I think Emerson's been playing the last 3 or 4 games. He's played a lot better than he has done. And I think the last game against West Ham, as much as he's not a good player, in my opinion, it was probably his best I've ever seen him in a Spurs shirt. It was good in the last game. So I think Emerson stays. I think Ben Davies probably stays at left wing back. There's potential Perisic comes in, but if I'm honest, I wouldn't really want to see it. I'd rather see the same team that played, and I'd rather have Son on the bench as well, because I think at the moment he's definitely, there's something in Son where I've seen him when he comes on the pitch that he looks like the Son of old a little bit. He looks like he's got a bit more fire and hunger to kind of do well, and he looks fresher as well because he's not getting a full 90 minutes. And when you bring him on against tired legs, someone like Son running at you is not going to be the nicest thing. And the only problem with, like Alex was saying with Richarlison, he's been pretty shocking all season, to be honest with you. I know he's had a big injury stunt where he was out for nearly 2 months or so, and he hasn't really played up front. And the problem is, it's why I never wanted him in the first place. He's a strike. He's pretty much his best position is a striker, and we needed a winger really, or a player who can play in all positions equally. And
but Danny, I kind of see it like this: like, why not let Richarlison, if Son's main roles are going to be asked to get back defensively, play kind of that left mid as opposed to a left winger, left striker, and he's asked to do those defensive duties. If we're going to be doing that and we're stuck in that game plan, I'm of the mindset, as a Sonny enthusiast, as a moisture blanket man for Sonny, a star boy of moisturization for Son. My hands are starting to sweat when I think about this man, because when he scores goals, it's an emotional event for me. It's emotional, it's spiritual, it's physical, it's metaphysical, if you will.
Wow.
It's I know it's transcendent of all. When Son, I
knew you were going to say that word.
that's something I use, that my love for Sonny transcends time or form. So I will always be. But if we're going to be asking him to do those things that I don't think necessarily favors what he's good at, why not put Richarlison on for 60 minutes, go do the nasty work, the nitty gritty, wear out that back line, be a dickhead all game, bring Son in, he can clean it up, and we saw what that did versus Leicester. We saw what that.
That's why I don't want Son to start. I don't want him to start.
Because when you sub him in, he gets that chance to really make those runs and play more forward and not have to.
Yeah, definitely. You've seen the contributions. He's had 4 goals all season, starting from 22 games or 21 games, sorry, right? And then he's played twice from the bench and he scored 4 goals. So and every time he's come on from the bench, and the 2 appearances he has come off the bench, he's looked pretty good. So for me, I think Son needs to understand that he can't be picked no matter how bad he's playing. He needs to feel that there's competition in the squad, and the only way to do that and to keep the squad harmony good as well is to play someone like Richarlison, give him the chance to show. Because if he's not going to show what he can do, then that's on Richarlison. That's not on anyone else, right?
So, but if Richarlison's being asked to do the same shitty things that Sonny, like, let's assume that it's the tactics, right? That that Son is struggling with because his defensive responsibilities. If it's Richie there that's being asked to do the same shit that's making Sonny look bad, unless Richarlison's fucking world class, it's going to be hard, I think, for him to really start seeing the goals, because we're not seeing it out of Son. We're not seeing it out of Kulusevski. Maybe in the assist category we'll see it. That's kind of where I think he hasn't shown anything to be an impact off the bench, Richarlison, enough in the Premier League. So maybe it's better to let him go out there, do the dirty work for 60 minutes, and then we'll bring in Son to do the fancy footwork.
I think Richarlison, he can play as a left winger. He's done it. He did it for Watford. He did it for Everton before. He's only had 1 season as a striker at Everton, and that was when Calvert-Lewin was injured, basically, pretty much for the whole season, or 1.5 seasons. And he wasn't impressive as a striker either. He was all right. He was average, right? So for me, I think, look, if you're gonna want someone like that to wear out a team, what a great way to spend £60 million to fucking spend on a player just to wear out someone. It's just this is the complete structure of the way our club is run. But forgetting that, I think I'd rather Richarlison start in this particular game, because I think Son is he's the most impactful player I've seen this season from our bench. And against someone like Chelsea, I think you need to have that option to have
something to spark
someone who can change a game the way Sonny might be able to change a game. And that's why I want Richarlison to start.
It's a derby as well, isn't it, Daddy? I mean, if you've got,
of course,
a player like Richarlison who can fucking disrupt their back four, a bit of shit housery up top, it's a perfect game to throw him in.
You know what?
Sean's got to go. So real quick, Sean, starting 11 and score predictions. Can you throw them out? You got 30 seconds.
Same team as last time, and
as West Ham, 1-1. Who's scoring the goal for Tottenham?
Sonny, second half.
Oh, get
I don't
the
want
blankets out.
Danny agrees with me. I never agree with Danny. Danny agrees with me.
Sean does agree with me. He just doesn't like to admit it. Sean agrees with me a lot. A lot.
Chance to say it first because you went round like anti-clockwise. But had you come around the other way around, I would have said the exact same thing, and Danny would have said I agree with Sean.
See, Sean agrees with me. See, Sean agrees with me. See,
Danny has already heard me say this exact same thing on 5 other shows over the last 48 hours. So his opinion.
I actually haven't watched any shows for 48 hours. Actually. So.
Well, thank you, Sean. Big ups. I'll put his channel in the chat one more time for everybody who has not.
There you go. Have a good night.
Big up, Sean. Thanks for joining.
I can't wait for you to get round to Once Upon a Time actually bantering me or whatever it is that you think you do. I love you, buddy. I love you, mate.
Oh, Bob, get back in the mud, Bob. Honestly, bloody hell.
Yeah. Big up. Sava, let me get your starting 11. Also,
can I just say before you say anything, I've never heard Sava so quiet before in all my life.
I'm drinking it in, man.
Drinking it all in.
It's 1 o'clock in the morning, man. I got in last night about 3 in the morning after having drinks with Henry Wright, and I'm feeling.
How was that last night?
No, I need to wrap this show up, or my wife's gonna fucking divorce me soon. So I do want to get your starting 11, Sava, and then after you give me your starting 11, feed into your score predictions, goal scores for the match as well. I'll get that from the rest of you, and then we'll wrap this thing up.
Forster, Davis, Romero, Dyer.
Sean's frozen.
Emerson Royale.
There you
go. Davis or Perisic. I think they're both. Either one of them is going to get roasted tomorrow.
Does Davies stand a better chance for you?
Pardon?
Does Davies stand a better chance defensively versus whoever they?
Listen, I think everyone's saying he played really, really well against West Ham, but West Ham didn't attack. West Ham didn't attack at all. And Chelsea are going to. Chelsea have got players that will hurt us. The problem is with Chelsea is they don't score many goals. So I'm not worried about that. But as I said just now, Emerson Royal this week.
Dyer will help him with that. Don't worry,
he's going to be up against Chilwell and Mudryk. Yeah? Whoever
people forget Chelsea as well, isn't it?
Is going to be up against Reece James and either Sterling, Ziyech, or Madueke. Right? It's going to be a completely different game where wide players that actually want to come and attack us. Let's then see how good Ben Davies is as a wing back. Let's then see how good Emerson Royal is.
Let's do it.
Well, I'm going to disagree with something you said earlier, Phil. When you said earlier about you played Porro in this one because Chelsea can be got at.
Yeah.
If you actually look at Chelsea, they don't concede many goals at all. They really don't. Everyone's confusing them not winning with getting ripped apart. They're not. They've conceded they haven't conceded more than one goal for like 7 or 8 games.
The reason why I said that really was if you had Porro going down that wing, get them on the back foot on that side. With Mudryk. I mean, Mudryk at the minute he's trying to get to grips with the Premier League at the minute. So with Chilwell. Is he the best defensively as well? I mean, that right side. If we had Cooley, Ben Chilwell is very good defensively. He's good. He's better going forward, in my opinion, than he is defensively.
He's better than our wing backs for sure.
Look,
Miles better than our wing backs.
He's better than left backs.
You know what, Phil? You know what fans forget, right? Fans forget this is Chelsea. historically, right, there's a mental block in these players' heads when it comes to Chelsea, whether it's home or away. We struggle to beat Chelsea. It's once in a blue moon we beat them, right?
But this is the best time to beat them, Danny.
Yeah, but people always say this, Phil, right? People always say it's the best time to beat them. They said this last time and the time before that, and look what happened.
This is true.
Right? Every single time, it's the best time to beat them. It's the best time. Chelsea are like
but this one's the best time to beat them, Danny.
Do you know what? Chelsea are exactly like West Ham. It's their game of the year, right? It's the one game that they want to win more than any other game is against Tottenham. And majority of the time, 90% of the time, they come out on top. 90% of the time.
Look,
I just think we have to be more on the front foot than being defensively in this game.
Okay, what happens, Phil? If Chelsea come out right, it's not how we play. It's not. And what happens, Phil? What happens if Chelsea go and smack us 3-0 and it's a coming of age for Potter?
Can I just say as well? Like,
here we go
I can't see that happening anytime soon.
Yeah,
with the
you
way
can't see it
because
because you're using your illogical Tottenham brain to think that can't happen. It just cannot happen. But it can.
I want to say something.
Just quickly, right? When we're talking about like with the whole Porro thing about Porro and putting them on the back foot. First of all, that's not how we play. We don't put anybody on the back foot. That is not how we play football under Antonio Conte. Second of all, I do not want Pedro Porro in his first game to be against Chilwell and to play Mudryk into form.
Sar's first Premier League start was versus Arsenal. Why not? Fuck it. I Papi Matasar.
Yeah, but the difference is this. Look, for as much as we're saying, if you've got tomorrow Chelsea, where Chelsea have strength is out wide, right? Yeah. Chelsea have good players from the wing-back area, and believe it or not, Mudryk, all right, bearing in mind, Mudryk has only started 3 games and hasn't finished 90 minutes, and everyone's writing him off already. Yeah, that man is quick. That man is rapid, right? And Porro can't defend. From what we've seen so far, that boy cannot
50
defend.
Minutes.
But you can't use the same argument for that, Sava.
Yeah, no.
You can't say that everyone's writing off Mudryk, right? And you're saying the exact same thing about Porro after 50 minutes of football. You can't use that argument.
Jesus Christ, I didn't finish my sentence, otherwise you would have heard what I was going to say. I'm not saying that. I'm saying a guy that's come in and only had 50, 60 minutes or whatever playing.
Yeah.
Are we saying that we want his first start at home to be against a team that have Chilwell and Mudryk? I don't think that's the game, personally. I think you need the defensive fallback against them. Not to say that I think Royal's good or anything, but I think you need that. Yeah. The difference is this, for me, with Chelsea. I said it earlier in the show. Chelsea haven't actually been playing too bad. They've defended well. They have a lot of the football. They don't score goals. So for me, I think we've got to be really wary. We should win. The rest of the team picks itself. I would go with the same team. I would keep Son on the bench one more game, and then let him come on and do it again. Because otherwise, if he comes back straight back in like he did, look
after Leicester,
Son was back after Leicester
immediately.
After the Palace goal, Son was back after the Preston goal. Right at some point, it's got to be
he's back right now
on that spot.
No,
Same with Kulu though. There's an argument there. So look, I would play Sarr, but I think he'll play Skip. I think our midfield's going to have their work cut out against Enzo Fernandez and even
Enzo's quality player. Say what you will about him, but Enzo's a quality player.
Enzo's class. And Enzo Fernandez. I've heard Spurs. I was watching a YouTube channel the other day, and everyone in the chat going, "Oh, that Enzo Fernandez is crap." What? What are they watching?
They don't watch
He
football.
is brilliant. Anyway, score prediction.
Big up 10-inch Alan Sibley.
Listen, my heart says we're going to win 2-1. My head thinks it's going to be a score draw, purely because I don't think Chelsea, they've not been winning games, but they have not. Everyone's talking as though they're getting smashed everywhere they go, and they've not been. But we should, like Alex said, we should have too much up top. I think that's the difference. If they've got
getting the goals for you,
Kane. I never look past Harry Kane.
Hotspur scored the last one that get us going versus Chelsea.
I think Kane.
Okay. Phil, what's your score predictions and goal scores, my friend?
I think it's going to be a tight game, a very tight game. I think it'll be a 2-1. I think Kane will get on the score sheet. I think Sonny will probably get one late on when he comes on.
Talk to me.
If he doesn't start, but yeah. I think it'll be
when Sonny scores, you got to get the blanket. A tissue is not enough. Thank you for that. I love Sonny scoring. I'll forever, always love hearing someone predict Sonny scoring.
By the way, just to clarify, I do think Sonny will start.
You think he'll start?
What I would like to see and what will happen are always, obviously,
two different things. Yeah.
I think Sonny starts. I just, guys, honestly, the wing back situation, this is a tough one, because if Reece James finds any sort of form against Davis, who can't run, or Perisic, who can't defend, listen, I think everyone's writing this off as an easy win, and I
think it's got to be Davies out there for me, out there fighting Reece James, because who else is gonna look? It doesn't. We all know the options. Whoever's out there playing against, in my opinion, the best right wing back in the world in Reece James.
I agree.
This is the best right wing back in my opinion.
And every time he plays Tottenham, he
turns up because he's a Chelsea boy. He knows what it means. I'm hoping that Ben Davies feels that. I know he's not Tottenham lad, like a young lad who came through the academy, but he is a fucker who's been here for 10 damn years. So I hope he feels a little bit of pride in the fact that we're playing a rival. You got to just show up and put your damn body on the line. That's what people love about Romero. That's why he's a cult hero immediately, was because he's a fucking wild man.
Jacob, that midfield battle as well. That midfield battle, you've got two players in Højbjerg and Skip that aren't very good on the ball, right?
Yeah.
Enzo Fernandez, the best I've seen Chelsea play this year was when they had Enzo Fernandez and Loftus-Cheek as a double in the middle. And they controlled the game. And I'll go back to what I said earlier, Jacob. João Felix in the hole scares the crap out of me. João Felix finding that pocket of space.
He's a very talented player.
And I can see Romero going through him, getting a silly yellow card. I worry. But look, guys, I think I do need to go.
Yeah.
I really need to go. Listen, I've loved it. I'll come on again if you'll have me another time. And much love to you all. And thanks.
There's Sav's channel next week. 24-hour stream, right? Next week?
Yes.
24-hour stream. It's benefiting the earthquake victims in Syria and Turkey. It's going to be a 24-hour stream. I'll be popping up there at least once, maybe twice during that 24-hour stream. I'll come say hello. And do go over there next week. Sava's channel, there it is. You can click that. It will bring up a new tab. If you haven't already subscribed to Sava, please do. It's very simple, very easy. It's free. He's always a good lad out there promoting everyone's channels, getting everyone. So, Sava, thank you so much for your score predictions, goal scores, and appreciate your time. This is we're almost at an hour over my predicted time for the show. So, my wife's gonna be fucking pissed. That'll be great. Yeah.
Guys, I'll see you all later. Thank you.
Cheers, man. Have a good night. Alex, Mr. Box Office. Let me move this fucking banner. Give me your goal scores and your score prediction, my friend.
I think we'll just beat them 2-1 because of the strikers that we've got. That's the only reason. I think unfortunately because of our strike, I think because we've been lucky because we've got our strikers in the day, and I think that's what's helped us win games. I think it helped us against Man City. I think it will help us against Chelsea. I think it's either going to be a draw or we're going to win 2-1, and that's it. I don't.
Who you got scoring our goals?
I think Kane will score. I don't know who's going to be the second scorer. I think it might be either Kane will score and then somebody else. I don't know. Maybe Son. I don't know.
Okay.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Tottenham lose as well, because from what we're saying as well, at the end of the day,
it's always a possibility.
Chelsea have got a better team than our team at the end of the day. It's just that they don't work well together at the moment. They've got a much more better team.
And along comes Dr.
Tottenham. But the only problem is that if you don't score goals against Tottenham, Tottenham, let's be honest here, haven't played well for a long time. I mean, you can say whatever you want about Man City. That was a tactical win. that was the reason why we won tactically. That's
Big ups
it.
got him.
You know, and West Ham, we're just better out of a bad bunch, a really rubbish team like West Ham. You know what I mean? And everybody celebrated like they won a trophy, for goodness sake, after the game as well.
I liked it. I'll celebrate. I like the celebration.
I've said it already.
You know,
I've said it already. So,
I think with this game, I think my head is saying that we're going to draw this game. Sorry, my heart is saying we're going to draw this game, and I think it will be like a 2-2. But my head is saying we're going to lose this game because I've just got this feeling. I've just got the feeling that it's the day that all the shit that's surrounding Chelsea at the moment, they haven't really been playing
perfect
well.
Timing for them.
It's just it always is. It's the perfect.
What is
time.
it?
But it's the worst thing to do, though.
It's a perfect time
line,
just
the
come alive,
come
and
out.
then what you'll do is you'll see Chelsea play this football that we haven't seen from Potter yet, and everyone's gonna be like, "Oh look, Potter's football is here. This is it." This is
who's struggling on their team right now?
And
who would you say
they're beat us?
But
who's struggling on their team? They're gonna have a
that's the
fucking
worst thing
blinder.
you can do, though. That's the worst thing you can do because the thing is, though, if they sack him, if they sack him, they get somebody else.
Hat trick, something.
They already tried to get Pochettino
first goal.
But they've already tried to get Pochettino already, right? So they're gonna go for other managers. They might even try and get Tuchel back. You don't know.
Yeah, I think they're trying to line. I think they're trying to line someone up. To be fair,
I'm going to call this now. Yeah, if Reece James plays, he's going to get man of the match.
Yeah, but it's the thing is though, it's a bad result for us either way because the thing is though, if we win, they're going to sack their manager and get somebody else who's good. By the way, because they're not going to get someone who's bad.
They're going to
get someone who's good.
They're not going to sack him.
Well, I don't think they're going to sack him. I think Bowley's going to be stubborn and ride this out.
I think he's got 3 games. I think he's got 3 games.
I'm not being funny.
They've already said they're going to back. They already said they're going to back him. The whole point of paying the money they got for him was because they want to put the vision with Potter. They saw Potter as the guy who wants.
I know that, Danny. But you've got football. It's a results game. Doesn't matter if the owners say that. You know,
the fans are already going at each other already. Yeah. Which was even more embarrassing as well, to be honest with you, because there's much more things to worry about in the world than them going. I mean, some of the things I saw on stream, I just thought it was embarrassing. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if they lose against Tottenham, yeah, the fans are gonna go absolutely mad. Yeah,
I love it.
They're not gonna be happy. They can't. They will not.
I want to see more of that.
They will not accept it at all. Yeah. Right, this is a fan base that have been spoilt for so long, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right, they're not going to accept it at all.
They ain't got a choice, man. They ain't got a choice. It's up to the owner. The owners just put £600 million into the team with the manager there. There's a reason
they're
why
going to ride this out for a minute.
Of course they are. They're not going to sack him just now.
That money, the money they put into that team is over last how many?
Alex, do you know what? Right, this is what I don't.
I'm very sorry. I'm trying to stay married to my wife. I do have to wrap this thing up in a second. But Danny, real quick, give me your point you wanted to make. I don't want you to not have a point you didn't get to say. So I do want you to make your point real quick. Yeah, but I do have to wrap this up.
It's not Abramovich. That's it. It's people forgetting that it's Ted Bowley. Abramovich cut and chop managers all the time. This is Ted Bowley. He's already said his vision of what he wants when he came into this club, and he said about what he wants with Potter. He has a plan and a vision over a number of years. I guarantee you, Potter's not going anywhere. Guarantee you.
I'm leaning on your side, Danny, a little bit of this fence, just because I see it from an American standpoint. I'm investing my money, my pride, my name, my fucking reputation. I'm going to ride this out at least until most of the wheels have fallen off, because you have a sense of pride and you're doing the right thing. For me, score predictions, goal scores, I think it's going to be either a 1-0 or a 2-2. I'm kind of like you, Danny. My heart says 1-0. We're going to grind it out. Kane at the death, something out of nothing, or Son at the death, something out of nothing. Real gritty game. Or I can see it easily being a 2-2. I tend to never predict that we lose because I don't like to fucking put that energy out there. I'm a big guy on speaking things into existence. So I'm usually wrong with my predictions, especially when it comes to Spurs, because I don't predict us to lose because I refuse to put that energy out there. But I do feel like a 2-2 draw or like a like something like that. I can see us going down and fighting back and showing grit in front of the fans and getting out of there with a point. And that's best case scenario in some people's eyes. So I'll take it. My goal scorers, I think Kane, it's almost inevitable. Kane loves a goal versus Chelsea. I miss Dele Alli's goals versus Chelsea. So I think someone in the midfield area is going to come up with that second goal. As much as I want to say Son, because I love predicting Son, I think it's going to be like a Hojbjerg. Maybe we see Skip's first fucking Premier League goal. I don't know. It's going to be a mystery. I like Alex. He's kind of, I can't call it. I think it will be a mystery, man. It will be someone we don't expect. Maybe it's like Davies or fucking. Maybe Richarlison.
Real quick though, with the Porro situation, I think it can be one of them debuts where, you know, it is at home. Get the fans behind him, and it might be just one of them debuts where he just has an absolute stormer. So that's my opinion on him starting.
I would prefer to see him start, but I don't think he will.
I agree.
Well, that's purely on Emerson's performance, isn't it? But, yeah.
I can see whoever they start out there on the right getting a goal, whether it's Emerson or Porro, honestly, because I just see someone not who we're expecting getting that other goal. Adrian Schroker says Spurs 3, Chelsea 2. I want to say a big special shout out to the Soggy Undies member Alan 10-inch Sibley's checked into the chat and said Chelsea always turn over Spurs plus Dr. Tottenham equals tears for us. So hopefully we're singing a different tune, Alan. Scott M says 3-1 Chelsea win, and I think that's being nice from Scott M's perspective. I can see that. I can genuinely see a 3-1. I could see that, or I could see Mile High Hotspur's prediction 4-0 Spurs.
Oh, no, definitely.
I could see
that's the most deluded thing I've ever seen.
Here's the thing, Danny. I think that any given day you might see one side of the pancake, and if you know about anything about pancake art, one side's going to look fucked up. The other side's going to look kind of what you were trying to make it look like if you know what you're doing. And then there's Tottenham. We're the fucking burnt waffle maker. But I do want to say special thank you to Sava Talks Football for making his debut. Phil, special thank you to you as well, making your debut. You have my number now, so I'm going to have to invite you on for another Friday show as soon as we can get that done. Danny, I always say you are the roaming unicorn. In this meadow you may roam, but do we know? No, I don't think we do. But thank you so much for always joining. And then Alex, box office THFC. I guess if I need you, my back call for you, Alex, is I'm going to get Sean on. I'm going to get Sean on, and then I get box office. That's just how it's going to work from here on out. So big ups. Thank you for joining.
I love Sean. He's a good guy.
I love Sean too. Big up. There's Danny's channel, Tottenham on Tour with Brian DeGoul and Brian Ireland. So go check them out. And then Alex THFC, there's his channel if you want to check out the box office more. Phil, do you have a channel I can promo?
No, I don't have a channel, mate.
All right, so Phil's channel is United Spurs of America. So lock it in here. Like and subscribe this video if you have not already.
Irish Hotspur as well, Jacob.
Irish Hotspur. I love Irish Hotspur. I've been doing some fan shows over there on Irish Hotspur. So I believe I'll be doing one after the Chelsea match as well. So after the Chelsea match, lock it in to the Irish Hotspur. We'll see you there. But also, I want to say special thank you to everyone who voted in the poll. I see 40 votes and 34 likes on the video. That, by my simple math, says 6 hating ass motherfuckers this week. So big up to you 6 hating ass motherfuckers. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for participating in the poll. And thank you for the other 34 of you who have liked the video and also participated in the poll. That's the whole game here. Feelings about Chelsea. The winner. Oh, this is a tight race. I don't think I've ever had a poll race be this high. So let me go ahead and end the poll to see who's the winner, because number one with 27%, barely 27%. I've never seen a winner with under 30%. That's insane. So 27% says we got her number, meaning we will win. We got that lady. Come on. 25% says who's that lady? Sexy lady. And then 25% say, I just want a good time. And 22% with, she will do what she always does, with a little frowny face, meaning we will lose to Chelsea. 22% say that. So I, honestly, most of the time, those answers, they resemble all of my feelings. But again, thank you so much to everyone who's joined in. Thank you to the chat, everyone who's chimed in. Big ups yourself if you watch this channel. We are on the road to 1,000 subs, so any help you can give, share this video with your mother, your brother, your cousin. They all want to become a fan of United Spurs of America and what we do over here, because you kind of just don't know what you're going to get week to week. But thank you so much for everyone who did drop by. Also, big up Scott M. I don't think I shouted you out, but big up Scott M. checked in as well. He's an official supporter. The Patreon link is there if you are interested in doing that. But if not, freezies. It doesn't. If you do want to spend $1, you can become part of the Lovers Lane. But if you don't want to spend $1, you can just hit a like, hit a subscribe. That helps the channel tremendously. And you can even go back to some of the old videos and hit a like there too, because that'll just help the algorithm, all that YouTube shit. So big up Danny, big up Alex, big up Phil. Thank you to everyone who's still here. Excuse me. And as always, up the lads and come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Coys.
United Spurs of America, with your hosts, Michael and Jacob.